Hello, everyone. Welcome to Race Day Live on SupercrossLive.com. Today, Monster Energy Supercross returns to Foxboro, Massachusetts in Gillette Stadium. It is round 15 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. I'm your host, Andy Boyer, and beside me, as always, is 1985 World Supercross champion Jim Hollywood Holly.
You know, it's been a long time since I've been back here. I kind of went back to last year. I rode here, 1984. Can you believe that? That's 37 plus years that it's been here. But what a beautiful stadium, Gillette Stadium here. And you
the
know,
whole complex,
I mean, you got the hotels, the restaurants, everything. You don't have to go anywhere. I mean, you can just stay right here. I could live right here.
Right. Well, as you guys can see, we have a little bit of weather here today. We had some rain last night. It's still drizzling a little bit, so the schedule's going to be a little bit behind, but everything's going to be cool. We're still going to broadcast on Fox Broadcast Channel at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got a big show. Rob Gronkowski is going to join us here on Race Day Live today. Justin Brayton, Mike Alessi. Yeah, we got the new
Gronk.
Absolutely. But some big storylines. Can Ryan Dungey wrap this thing up here in Foxboro?
You know, I think he's got a good shot at it. I mean, you look at the past 3 weekends, he's won all 3 rounds. For that matter, the podium's been the same, top 3, all 3 rounds. But, I mean, he's in a good position right now. He's got a 48-point lead, just needs 2 more points. I'm hoping Kenny Roczen can step it up. We prolong that championship and move on down to MetLife next weekend. But what you're seeing behind us is a delayed track walk. You know, normally it was supposed to be at 7:30 this morning. I wish we would have got the call from the higher ups and said, look, we're going to postpone the track walk, because then we could have slept in a little bit. But track walk started about 5 minutes ago, so these guys have got a chance to go out there and kind of walk and you know, think about what they got to do, if they got to make any changes to their bike or whatever. Everybody's scrambling today. I mean, not only the riders, but mechanics, team managers,
the whole
everybody.
program.
Yeah, and you know, they're going to go, and it's just going to be 2 practices. That's it, 2 qualifying sessions, no free practice. So when you get out there for the first time, you're on the clock.
Right. It's going to be go time right off the bat. You know, everybody's on track walk right now, but I don't really know what they're going to get out of it. It's really muddy right now. A little bit of
they're going to go, and it's just going to be 2 practices. That's it, 2 qualifying sessions, no free practice. So
let's talk about
when you get out there for the first time, you're on the clock.
Right. It's going to be go time right off the bat. You know, everybody's on track walk right now, but I don't really know what they're going to get out of it. It's really, with a little bit of a muddy track conditions and some ruts, Plessinger's probably licking his chops right now.
Well, he is, as well as Jeremy Martin. Like you said, Jeremy Martin, first time, the 2 times he's won this year on that East Coast there, and you got to look at it 1-2 for the Star Racing Yamalube racing team there. You know, 16 points. He's not out of it with 3 rounds to go, especially when we talk about that Las Vegas, the East-West shootout. Points count for their championships. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, if you're Aaron Plessinger, you got a big ear-to-ear grin right now going, yeah.
Well, we have those 250 highlights last weekend from St. Louis. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Las Vegas, points count for their championships. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, if you're Aaron Plessinger, you got a big ear-to-ear grin right now.
Stewart came to St. Louis with a points lead, but mistakes like this would cost him dearly.
While running second, Stewart stalls it, then Biscelli gets into him, and that is a clear track for the Yamaha rider, Jeremy Martin out front.
But Stewart wasn't done with his problems yet. Here he starts to work his way back through the field, and wide and into the top blocks he goes.
Goes wide in the sand. That would be the second time he would be down. But the worst of it wasn't over.
Meanwhile, Jeremy Martin, who has had his share of troubles this year, finds himself out front and having a perfect day here in St. Louis.
I mentioned Malcolm Stewart wasn't done yet. Makes one more small mistake. It would cost him a position. He'd pick the Geico Honda back up, but still retain the points lead.
Round 6 would give us our first repeat winner of 2016. And it's Jeremy Martin who says hello to Juliana Daniel on the top step of the podium.
So how about Malcolm Stewart? You know, 3 crashes, but he still perseveres and gets an 8th place finish and maintains the point lead.
Well, he had to.
Yeah.
I mean, if he didn't, if he said, hey, you know, if he pulled off, yeah, I mean, you can't give up. And he still got the point lead by 1 point, but you almost felt bad for him, you know. I mean, I did feel bad for him. 3 times he went down, and that's just unfortunate, but hopefully he can rebound here in Gillette Stadium and reset a precedent. And hey, I'm in this thing for the long haul. But you know, what do you say about Jeremy Martin? I mean, you look at the weekend before where he DNF, got 21st, had that horrible crash, comes back. He did everything perfect except for qualification. He was 14th fastest going in, but he did everything. Got the $1,000 from SupercrossLive.com. Whole shots at main event, leads all 15 laps, and just, I mean, looked like he reinserted himself back into this championship fight.
Right, it was a good ride by Shane McElrath to pick up his 2nd podium of the season 2, and guys like that, you know, they're starting to get faster. You know, think about Colt Nichols on the West Coast. When that 250 East-West shootout fires off, it's going to be really interesting, and you're exactly right, Jim. Jeremy Martin is not out of that championship at all. And today, with mud and a little bit of rain in the rain's going to be out of the forecast, but the mud, I think, is going to be here to stay. It'll be better by the time the races kick off, and especially the main events, but it's going to be ruddy, it's going to be wet, it's going to be a lot of variables for that 250 East.
Yeah, and I think with the Feld track crew, they'll do an excellent job. I mean, after qualifying's over, they'll get out there and rework the track, and by the time we get around from the Fox broadcast, it's going to be perfect out there for those heat races. And I think we're in for a good main event. But with that being said, things happen in mud races.
Yeah, like you say, I don't think it's going to be a full-on mudder, but the Feld track crew will work on it throughout the day. Each time they go back and fix all the ruts and fix all, you know, it's like a pizza cutter. Right now, the track is about as good as it's going to get, but once the first qualifying sessions kick off, it's going to cut into that dirt. It's going to be a mess. Then they'll fix it, and it'll gradually get better. But, you know, it could be title time, transitioning into the 450 class for Ryan Dungey. Who are the good, you know, wet weather riders in your mind?
Well, I mean, you know, right off the top of my head, you know, Kenny Roczen's got to have good experience coming from Europe and stuff, being from Germany. You know, he's Muskin, that's another one. Barsha, you know, a lot of people are going to be, this is kind of a hometown race for him. He's going to be good, but, you know, Dungey's going to be good
he's
also.
Good everywhere. Exactly.
I mean, you just never know. Anderson, we'll see. Reed, I mean, you talk about our RM fantasy picks.
Yeah.
We got a doozy here
yes, we do.
in Gillette Stadium here in Foxboro, because, I mean, I don't know. You know, we've just named off about 8 guys that can win this thing tonight.
Bogle, he's from Oklahoma. You know, I think he can ride in the soft stuff pretty well. But the main events last weekend in St. Louis, the 450 main events, had the same podium, the same 3 guys, but it was the same awesome action. Dungey and Roczen went at it for the first 10 laps, and then Roczen made a little mistake. But we have those highlights from St. Louis. Let's take a look.
Round 14 for Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship inside the Dome at America's Center in St. Louis. Great dirt for racing and a highly anticipated gate drop. Watch Ryan Dungey swing way to the outside, come back across with the early lead, but his nemesis Ken Roczen right on his tail in the 94.
The leaders would be followed by Justin Brayton, and Jason Anderson would work his way to 4th, but the race was on between our 2 points leaders.
Just like they did the week before in Indianapolis, Dungey and Roczen would battle for the lead, and Roczen would continue to show the front wheel.
But behind them, Anderson makes a very aggressive move, pushes Justin Brayton a little bit wide, and watches Brayton down on the top of the triple jump after a fantastic start for the BTO Sports KTM rider.
You see Josh Grant jumps on the red light. That will impact his finishing order later. Marvin Musquin had a great day going, and the French rider would lose it.
Musquin was 4th at this point when he went down, showing a lot of speed, so that would cost him.
And here's Roczen and Dungey again to thrill the crowd in St. Louis as they swap the lead.
Roczen just opened the door by going wide after taking the lead, and Dungey would retain the lead. But this main event would not be over.
We knew this day would come down to mistakes, and the biggest was Roczen's.
Roczen here, as he was chasing down Dungey, washes the front wheel out and goes down. Watch bottom of your screen there. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider Anderson goes by for 2nd.
Checkered flag would await, and Ryan Dungey would pick up his 8th victory of 2016, 30th of his career.
But the battle for second would not be over. Anderson, second, goes deep in the sand. Roczen goes by, steals second place away from Jason Anderson at the end.
And Anderson frustrated with Brock Tickle at the end of the race. But it's Dungey on the top step of the podium once again.
So Anderson was pretty upset with Tickle there at the end of that race, but
yeah, I don't know what he's got to be upset about. I mean, I kind of watched that replay there, and he clearly wasn't in his way, and it was hard for me because I was down on the track and I really can't see. But looking at it from that perspective, you get a chance to look at that,
right?
And I'm going, I don't know what he was mad about.
No, he was mad though.
I think he was mad at himself that he lost that second place position into Kenny Roczen.
Yeah, he rode hard. He's been riding hard. Anderson's got 4 podiums in a row, going back to that win that he had in Detroit. But you know, look at Ryan Dungey and talk. He had his visor up, no distractions. Roczen passes him. He makes the move of the season, I think, and counters and gets back to that inside and regains the lead. You know, a stat I was just looking at today: Ryan Dungey's led 155 laps of this championship this year. The next closest guy is Roczen with 59 laps. So that just spells domination right there.
Well, and the other thing too that it spells is that, you know, he's getting good starts. I mean, to put himself in those positions, as we're getting a chance now to really get a good look at that track behind us there. And you know, they're still finishing up the track walk, and you'll see a lot of the guys. You'll see a little bit of standing water in some spots, you know, but I think for the most part, I mean, for as much rain as we had, you know, overnight, I think the track will be fine.
I don't know, man. It's pretty wet.
I know the goggle guys, you know, are really struggling out there because they're laying on a lot of tear-offs and things like that. But, you know, and the mechanics also, they're, you know, in a frantic, you know, put a lot of foam in where the brakes are and the foot pegs and things like that, and just spraying the bike down with a little bit of, you know, WD-40 or PAM or whatever, so the mud doesn't stick to the fenders. Try to keep the bike as light as possible.
You know, even with all the rain that we've had, you can tell there on the track there's 2 different kinds of dirt here in Gillette Stadium. And, you know, it's gonna, if it dries out, that's going to come into play. And, Jim, it looks a lot different than when you and I were down there yesterday. But we were down there on the track yesterday. Let's go down and take a closer look at the track here today in Foxboro, Massachusetts. This week's track segment here from Gillette Stadium. Jim Hawley, Monster Energy Supercross, returns to this awesome venue.
Can you believe it? Last time I was here in 1984, that was 30 some odd years ago, but it's just great to be back up here. I think that the fans are going to be treated to a great race, and they've been waiting a long time. I mean, actually the last race that was here was 1990. Jean-Michel Bale won that night, but you know, coming up here, you know, it brings back a lot of great memories and a lot of great riders out of this area.
That's awesome. It's a great track design, kind of a bigger layout, so the lap times are hovering around the 58, 56, 58 second bracket. And another interesting part of this track is the dirt. There's 2 different kinds, Jim. The darker soil is a little more hard packed, so they use that for the whoops, which are right over our shoulder here, and in the faces of the triples and the finish line. The tan dirt is a little more loose, and Mike Alessi said he thinks it's going to rut up a little bit.
Well, and I like that concept of different dirt, you know, because then you got to really think out there. You got to really use your mind out there. Another thing I like is after the whoops, that sweeping right-hand corner. That's going to be good. You know, your foot's going to be down. You can't grab. If you get in here too hot, you know, you got to do your braking before you enter into the corner. But I think all in all, I don't know if it's going to rut up as much as we've seen in the past. And I'm talking Indy and St. Louis last weekend, but I think it's going to be more like a Santa Clara type terrain.
Right, but more to that right-handed corner. It's funny how the most simple obstacle might be the most exciting here tonight. I see a lot of passes being set up through the whoops, a lot of outside-inside maneuvers through this right-handed sweeping corner. Very difficult. You can't put your foot on the brakes, so it makes it harder, but it's a great track design. The guys were just out here spinning some laps, and everybody came off with some pretty big smiles, so it's going to be a good show. So who would have known, Jim Hawley? As beautiful a day as it was yesterday, you know, sometimes the old weatherman earns his paycheck, and he was right. There was a 50% chance of rain, and he was half right. It rained on us, but like you said, you know, the weather forecast moving forward, they're supposed to get some sunshine here around noon, and a little bit of a breeze, some sunshine, the Feld Track crew going to town, making this thing good. It's going to work out good, and by the time the main events roll around, it's going to look a lot different than what we're looking at right now. But it's definitely wet right now, and those whoops you're looking at are going to be treacherous here in the first qualifying session.
Well, and the thing about it also is, like we talked about with this revised schedule, there's no free practice. So when they're out there, they're on the clock. So the guys are going to have to start pushing it a little bit earlier. And the key thing is, okay, when do you set down your fast time? Is it going to be in that first qualifying session, or is it going to be in the second one? Because I don't think that we're going to have a lot of work in between those 2 qualifying sessions with the Feld Track crew getting out there kind of grooming the track. So I think
they're going to go for it.
You got to put the hammer down right away and lay down that best lap time.
And I think the riders that got to ride press day and got to ride a little bit yesterday to test out the lap time are going to be in a big advantage. They already checked out the rhythm sections. They've already blasted the whoops and hit the triples, and they have their timing down. So that's going to be a big help. But you know, we've looked at it on foot. Let's go take a digital look with the Kawasaki track map.
Well, here we go, and we like this starting on because it is pretty long here at Gillette Stadium here, and you're going to go immediately into that left-hander, and right out of that, you're going to jump back into this timing section here where it's going to be key, especially off of those heat races, especially with the mud flying. You want to be out front today, that's for sure. And then right out of there, you got the big 65-foot triple, a nice right-hander pole turn right here, leading it into that long set of nasty whoops that we're going to see here today, and then that right-hander we talked about.
Corner, yeah.
You got to make sure you get your braking down after that. If you can triple this section here and step on, step off, going down that backside of this straightaway here into this right-hander. And this right-hander is interesting because you got to hit these timing sections perfect to carry that momentum into this right-hander after that. And then another little step on, step off as we go back into the left-hander here. And that left-hander, look for a lot of passing there. There's another little rhythm section into that right-hander there. And you're going to come out of there and you're going to go over the Monster Energy finish line, which is pretty big here. A couple little rollers after that, and then immediate right-hand turn back down that straightaway here. And you know, you're going to see a lot of guys come back onto that straightaway, and they're going to be ducking their heads because the roost is going to be violent coming off of that, you know, when you head back down into the straightaway.
Right, and some of the mud prep that they'll do, they'll put foam on top of their helmets because the mud will pack up there and it'll make that helmet weigh like 20 or 30 pounds and wear your neck out. So that's one of the preventive things they'll do with the bikes. But all in all, you know, for mud prep, they really don't do much. I've talked to a lot of the factory mechanics, and aside from putting the foam on the brake pedals to make sure those don't get locked up, they kind of run the same thing. They might stiffen the suspension up a little bit, run some handguards maybe, but it's pretty much man and machine and versus the elements. So.
Well, and the other thing, sometimes it'll do it, it just depends. If it's a downpour, then they might, you know, change out the disc. Instead of having the lighter disc with the holes in it, they might go to a solid disc, gives it a little bit better braking into the corners. But I don't think that, I mean, I hopefully the weatherman, he's correct now. He says this afternoon we won't have no rain, and if that's a good thing. But you know, sometimes in mud races, the rain actually helps because it washes the motorcycle, makes the bike a lot lighter because the mud doesn't stick. I think the mud's going to stick tonight.
Right. It'll be tacky. It's going to be wet. But we're trying to bring back the sunshine. It might be here. We're hoping it's going to be here. But we hope you stay here on Race Day Live. Have a few words from our sponsors. Stay tuned. AMSOIL. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Terex 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute invites you to text SX to 82257. Enter for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4 LE. Again, text SX to 82257 for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4 LE.
What's up, guys? Chase here at Rocky Mountain 8 to VMC, and it is time for Fantasy Supercross. If you played Fantasy Supercross last year, the gameplay for this year is going to feel very similar. However, we have made some big changes to scoring that we think you guys are going to love. For 2016, we'll be giving away over $100,000 in prizes. Our grand prize will be the all-new 2016 Toyota Tacoma. We also have a brand new Race Prep KX450F and a KX250F for our first and second place winners. We have got a ton of other prizes that we're going to be giving away as well. We've also got weekly prizes for our top 10 winners. So if you get a late start to the season, it's not a big deal. You will still have plenty of chances to win. To start playing, simply go to www.rmfantasysx.com and create an account. RM Fantasy SX is fun, it is easy to play, and it makes Monster Energy Supercross even more exciting. So make sure you sign up and start today.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
And welcome back to Gillette Stadium in Foxboro, Massachusetts. It is round 15 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. Andy Boyer and Jim Hawley with you here today. And the winds are blowing, it's a little bit cold, and we got a lot of moisture on the track. So that's kind of the topic right now, and it's going to carry on throughout the day. Sunshine's supposed to break through around noon, but that hasn't got here yet. And just finished up track walk, and guys were slipping and sliding around out there. And speaking of slipping and sliding around, you know, one of the hazards with the mud race in Supercross is if you get off the track, there's that plywood on the side, and you got to be really careful there.
Yeah, plywood's slippery enough when it's dry, you know, with a knobby tire. But now you add a little bit of mud and water on it, it's like grease out there. And you know, hopefully you don't get off the track, because you know what happens is, you know, your heart rate's up already, you're racing, you're off the track, and then all of a sudden you want to get back on and you grab a handful. I've seen so many guys that rear wheel just spin right out from
and they're dry
and they're down again. So we could have a few of those happening. I'm just more concerned about the wind, because when you get up there in those big triples, and you know the wind, I've been blown over. You know, from I start on the left-hand side, and by the time I land, I'm on the right-hand side, and I hope to God that nobody's on the side of me as we're looking at the flags there, and it's kicking up pretty good here.
Right, and hopefully that's blowing all these clouds out of here and bringing in the sunshine. So we're hoping for that, but for right now, it's definitely windy and pretty cold. Jim and myself are got the hands in the pockets and trying to stay warm for you folks, but we hope you guys. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to Race Day Live, especially all of our international viewers. You guys make up over half of our viewers with our show, and we can't thank you enough for joining us all season long. But the wind's blowing pretty hard here, Jim.
Well, and the other thing is, you think about it, you know, when I watch, you know, Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, you know, he's throwing a pass here, and you always hear the wind, or when the kickers are kicking the field goals, or kicking, you always hear that. You know, they say, well, the stadium, and now I know what they feel like, because we're in like a vortex of a wind tunnel right here, man. It is picking up, and the tarps are going to go by. Aaron Anderson's wife's holding it down. Steve, our assistant there, Mike, he's got a hold of this thing, because if it goes, I'm ducking down, man, underneath. It's like a hurricane maybe.
Right. You know, so the elements are definitely a factor here today in Foxboro. But hey, the show goes on.
That's
Races go on. Race Day Live continues, and guys like Dakota Alex that are from this area, you know, that came up here from St. Louis, made the drive up. Looking forward to racing in front of their hometown fans. Going to bring a little bit of extra juice to the table. Dakota Alex finished 3rd in his heat race last weekend in St. Louis. Had a little bit of a mix-up on the start, but
yeah, he ended up 14th in the main. I talked to him after, and he said, "Man, after that heat race, I was so pumped up, and I had the problems in the main." But I said, "Hey, man, 14's not bad. You know, that's not a bad finish."
Right. That's this week's Toyota Tailgate talk with Dakota Alex. Jim talked to him. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Welcome to this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. Each and every week we kind of go behind the scenes. We're really going to go behind the scenes with Dakota Alex, the man who runs that KTM number 64, and see if he's in there. I don't know. Hey, Dakota, you in there? Hey. There he is, Dakota Alex. All right, let me ask you, next weekend, it's no secret, we're going to Boston. It's going to be another day race. I know you're from Vermont. It's got to be, what, 3.5 hour drive for you or so?
Yeah, it's about 3.5 hours, I believe. My family is actually up there, or my sister is up there right now at a Red Sox game. So yeah, it's like a 3.5 hour drive, and I spent a lot of time in the area, so I'm excited to go up there and be close to home.
Yeah, me and you both. Last time I was there, I was still racing. That's the last time we had a race in Foxboro back in I think 1984 or so. I'm kind of dating myself, but that's a hometown race for you. Does that put a little bit more pressure on when you come in and you see, hey man, this is Foxboro, this is Gillette Stadium, this is where the Patriots play, this is where Tom Brady hangs out?
Yeah, it'll definitely be cool to be up back in the Northeast, New England, kind of like the environment I grew up in. But Vermont, I live way up in northern Vermont, so it is a little bit different up there. And Atlanta is kind of like my home race also, because I spent a lot of time in Georgia. But I'll have a lot of, probably around 50 friends and family up there, so it'll be good to see everyone and try to put on a good show for them.
Obviously, you know you're capable of running up there. You had a 6th place Daytona. I mean, I'm thinking a top 5 for you in Boston.
Yeah, that would be ideal for sure. Put in a good week, and hopefully I turn around tonight and then go in with a lot of confidence next week. And if I get a top 5, I'd be ecstatic to do it in front of my friends and family. So
now, who's driving this big rig? Because that's a long haul to take this thing up and down to all these races.
Yeah, luckily for me, MTF's bringing this rig to all the rounds. I really can't thank Brian and Brad enough for driving, and also my mechanic Christian. We drove to these last 2 races, and next weekend I'll get to fly, but they have to buckle down and do the drive, so I really appreciate that.
Your mechanic Christian doing a hell of a job back there. We got a chance to look at him spinning the wrenches and stuff. How long's he been with you?
Yeah, I'm lucky to have Christian. He does a great job. He started working for me in amateurs in 2013. We did my last couple amateur races together, and he's been with me ever since. And now he's my race mechanic, so I'm lucky to have him.
All right, well, that's it for this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. Make sure you check us out on supercrosslive.com and root on the number 64 in Boston.
So we're going to hope Dakota Alex has a good show here today, and maybe hopefully he can ride in the wet stuff, because like we keep saying over and over again, a lot of rain and the track's very, very wet. The bikes are fixing to come out there in the 250C practice here, so we're going to see just how bad it is pretty shortly.
Well, I mean, you come from Vermont. I mean, you got to have a little bit of mud skill with you. I mean,
Dakota,
it's not like you're coming from the West Coast or whatever, so he'll be fine. I'm sure he's hoping to try to put it up into the top 10. I know that, he had a top 10. I think he had a 7th going at Daytona, and he ended up going down. So
he's got the speed.
He definitely has the speed, and we saw that last week in that heat race by finishing up 3rd. So hopefully Dakota Alex can put that thing in the top 10 again, and possibly the top 5 here. Maybe a podium. You never know.
You do never know. You know, with the mud, it's a great variable, and it's going to be awesome. How many times did you ride in the mud? You're a California guy, so probably not very much.
Hey, well, back then in California, it rained a little bit more. We're in a drought situation now, but back in the 80s, we used to have our rain, and a lot of people thought I was crazy when it was pouring rain. I was out riding, because that's the only way how I could go out there and get used to the ruts and get used to the rain. And just on your mindset, putting your mind in a focus on, all these guys out here that are riding, hey, they know it's going to be nasty. They know it's going to be cold. It's going to be wet. It's going to be windy. You're going to have to deal with it. Everybody else is dealing with it. Suck it up and get out there and go ride. And, with that being said, I'd have fun when I'd go out there in the rain and stuff. And, just go out there and you got to look at it like you're having fun.
Right. Positive mindset.
Yeah, you got to think of the positive things. Hey, it could be pouring rain right now.
Still got to be positive.
Yeah, it's just, hey, I'm riding a motorcycle. I'm not swinging a hammer for a living. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and everybody else is out here, and this is a family atmosphere. All these guys know each other, and they're out there, and I'm looking forward to a great night tonight.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, too. Another thing I'm very much looking forward to is Monster Energy Supercross Chasing the Dream Episode 3. This Sunday at 3:30 Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. We're going to be live tweeting during the show from the producers Luke Parmenter and Doug Cabrera. So it's going to bring you even more inside than these guys take you behind the scenes, and that's going to be very, very cool. So remember, Chasing the Dream this Sunday, 3:30 Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
You want to do good and you want to win, and when you have somebody that's dragging you backwards on a weekly basis, if you have to race with the guy, it's like, dude, we're here to do a job.
One thing I don't think people do realize is how long it takes to get in the right condition to race Supercross. The demand on these guys is unbelievable.
Here it goes. He's gonna attack. You just get that like kill in your blood.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that show on Sunday. You know, the bringing back those memories of Atlanta and Weston Pike and Freezy and all that stuff. It's going to be cool to see how those guys put it together and see it from a different angle under a different light. And it's going to be special.
Yeah, that one clip they had there where, you know, they had to beep it there. That was Weston when he was talking to Buddy Anthony. His buddy was trying to calm him down.
Yeah, I ain't worried about it.
You're not calming down Weston Pike. He's fired up at that point, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it'll be a great show. And like you said, what time on the East Coast?
3:30 Eastern Time.
I got to remember that because I'm usually thinking about the West Coast time. I'm staying back all week,
out.
so I'm going to watch it tomorrow at 3:30.
Right. Well, I can hear motorcycles behind me. It gets the blood flowing a little bit better. So pretty fired up to see these athletes go at it here in Foxboro. It's going to be pretty slick here to kick things off. But I'm telling you right now is the best the track is going to be for a long time. You know, there's not the heavy ruts. They haven't cut into the faces of the jumps. And if you're wanting to go out there and be into that fast 40 and make it into the night program,
Now's the time.
You got to go right now. Yep. So
I'm sure all the mechanics were talking to all the guys out there prior to that, and they go, hey, look, we're going to give you about one lap to, you know feel the conditions out. But then after that, you need to start doing these transitions because it's only going to get harder to do these triples and go through the whoops right now as this track's going to break down. It's going to break down fast.
As we see him lining up there, the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. You know, it's funny. I know what's going through their head. I've been there, you know. I've laid in my motorhome at Loretta Lynn's and listened to the rain hit the top of it, and you know what it's going to be like when you get up there to the starting line. And you just, like you just said a while ago, Jim Holly, you got to get your mindset positive. You got to look at this as something that everybody has to go through, and you're going to be the toughest. You're going to get the best start, and you're going to persevere. You got to look at this stuff as an opportunity instead of a negative.
Yeah, and one of the guys that, you know, making his debut here in this first, qualifying was Patrick DeLowry.
Yeah.
His first Supercross, he qualified a couple years ago through the Ricky Carmichael Amsoil Arenacross Road to Supercross, and he's out there sitting on his Husqvarna number 603, so wish him the best of luck here in his debut in Supercross here at Foxboro, Massachusetts there. But he's a mud rider. I talked to him a little bit yesterday, and I said, hey, I'm all right. I'm good. Actually, this is probably a blessing in disguise for him.
Right.
Because, you know, it's a great equalizer like we talked about, and I got to remember back when I was still riding 1987 Daytona, Ricky Ryan won his first Supercross. It was a mutter there, and it just
he made history, you know, and they can't ever take that away from you. It's an opportunity to go out there and make it happen. So, but I guarantee you those guys down there right now you're looking at in the camera are a little bit nervous. And those whoops right over their shoulder are going to be tough. That definitely will be the most treacherous part of the track. But hey, that's the saying, man. Show goes on. It is what it is. Get underway here before too long. And once again on Race Day Live, we're going to have Mike Alessi, Justin Brayton, JoJo Keller. Some say the inventor of the scrub, JoJo Keller. And Jim Hawley, I'm sure you have some pretty good stories, some good JoJo stories for us here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when JoJo gets on and Doug Henry. That'll be like old home
Doug
school.
Henry, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a legend in itself, Doug Henry.
Here they go.
Oh, it's slippery out there.
Yeah.
There's our guy, Patrick DeLowry, right there, 603, getting to that inside there, splashing around in the mud. See now, single, that's good. The other rider out front, I can't see his number, but he actually doubled and then singled as they're kind of just rolling through the whoops here. It's going to be really hard because we talk about it each and every week. You got to get up on top of those whoops.
Right.
And the conditions
That's
today
not
are not
going to be
let
happening for a while.
They're not going to let you blitz through there, but
yeah, but you're exactly right, Jim Hawley. That's the prime way to go through the whoops. But when they're this muddy, got to be a little careful. That's there's Patrick. It's his first laps on a Monster Energy Supercross track, and there's some tough ones. But yeah, you know, he's got his good body positioning. He's keeping his momentum up.
Oh, yeah. Almost lost that front end. There's that other whoop section we talked about, yeah. Right. This will be key here to see if he can get up and over that Monster Energy finish line. He's going to get the green light, but nobody's pulled the trigger yet. I think that's okay. You know, you got to feel the track out for a lap, 2 laps. But it is slippery coming off of the line.
Yes, it is. What Ryan Huffman used to say, slicker than a snake oil salesman in the night.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, he's our leader there. I think that's number 619, I think, if I can see there. Live timing and scoring isn't up yet, but we'll get that rolling here. But yeah, number 619 leading us around so far right now. Joshua Cartwright. That's 519. I'm sorry. 619 is Mark Weischer from Belleville, Illinois. There's only one Illinois. I always put an S on there.
Home of Mark Barnett.
Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, I'm sure Brian Flack, Brock Glover, Marshall Plum, all the guys at Dunlop are thinking, you know, wow, are we going to run the 32 or do we go with a full-blown mud tire? They'll probably made the decision to wait and see how this first qualifying section pans out, get some feedback from the riders out there and see how they're. But
right.
The thing about it is you're not going to have a perfect tire out there today. You're going to be slipping and sliding out there.
And like you said earlier, the goggle guys, Anthony Paggio, John Knowles, those guys are going to be busy today. John Cuso, they're going to be.
Kenny Adams,
yeah.
I think he has the goggles for Anderson.
Yeah. So.
You notice the front fenders, how much they're moving the weight of the mud, you know.
Right.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple fenders broken today. Woo. Oh, I feel for these guys right now. And I mean,
too.
When do you pull the trigger and do the triple?
Boy.
You know, you're already wheel spinning coming up when you're doing the double. You know? And if you get on the throttle that much harder, you're going to that much more wheel spin.
Well, you got to do it early because that bike is just getting heavier and heavier every lap, you know, and jumping 65, 70 feet as we see a guy off the track here in the whoops. So far in the first 250C qualifying number 1, Tyler Wozni, number 760 on the Yamaha, is the fastest with a 1:29 lap time. Just to put a little bit of perspective on how much the mud is a deterrent. Yesterday, Chad Reed was running a 58, so 30 to 40 seconds slower here in the mud. You know, it is the C group though. The A guys and the 450s will get around there a lot better. But these guys are tough, toughing it out. It's funny. My fiance asked me this morning. I said, "Honey, it's raining." She goes, "Well, when are they going to have the race?" I said,
"Same time."
Same time. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of the riders you'll see using hand guards, you know, to keep the mud off of the clutch and the brake and the throttle and the grips and everything. Keep their gloves dry.
There you go.
That's a nice rhythm section there. Who was that? Now it's going to be hard to see the number plates. That's another bad thing for us announcers, Andy. Hard to see the number plates. That's 527 there. That's Matthew. I believe that's Hampshire. Our timing and scoring doesn't have his last name. It only has Matthew Ham, but I know it's not Ham.
Hammer.
Hammer.
The Hammer.
It's Matthew Hammer.
From Yonkers, New York. So no surprise that a New York guy up here, accustomed to riding in the wet weather conditions, is getting it done.
You know, yesterday, Andy, I had a chance to, you know, go down there and talk to Patrick DeLowry.
Yeah.
And see, you know, what his thoughts were coming into this race. So we'll have to see if we can get that queued up and go to that package.
Yeah, it's his first laps around a Monster Energy Supercross track.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad. He's sitting, what is that, 6th right now?
Yeah.
With a 133.7.
And, you know, like he said, his goals were to get into the night program and race in front of his friends and family up here. So it was cool to talk to him. Jim, you talked to him, and let's go ahead and take a look at that.
I'm here with Patrick DeLowry, making your debut in Supercross here at Gillette Stadium, Foxboro, Massachusetts. You just live about 20 minutes south of here, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited for this close race to be my first event and ready to go.
Tell me, a couple years ago, you qualified through the Amsoil Arenacross, the Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross. I know you rode Baltimore. Am I pronouncing this right? Worcester, Massachusetts?
Yeah, Worcester, Mass. That's my home race. I only live like 35 minutes from there. And Worcester and Baltimore and Greensboro, and I got my points for Supercross, so here we are.
What are you looking to come out of here? Obviously, I've talked to a lot of guys that make their debut in Supercross. You know, obviously you want to go out there, and it's a little bit different, a little bit shorter practice, but you want to get in that top 40 and the fastest.
Yeah, exactly. I have no expectations. I just want to put it in the night show pretty much, just make it through practice and ride in front of the fans and all my friends.
I think you got one of the coolest sponsors, Bubba's Motorsports. Talk about that and how, the relationship you have with those guys.
Yeah, Bubba's Motorsports in Buzzards Bay, Mass. They've been helping me out my whole career. I've been riding for them forever. Bubba himself's been working on my bikes, and he's a good dude, and they do good work.
A lot of guys from Massachusetts made a name for themselves in Supercross and outdoors. I'm talking JoJo Keller, Doug Henry. Some of those guys were probably your idols when you were coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually know JoJo Keller personally, and Jimmy Dakotas and all them guys. I just want to follow in their footsteps and try to make a name for myself.
Seems like you got a good relationship with your mechanic. Have you guys been around together a while?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been helping me out for a while. He's one of my good friends, and he knows what he's doing on the bike, so it works out good.
All right, that number you run, that 603 is the win, kind of threw the number plate off to the side there. How'd that come about, that 603? Is that something you were able to pick, or is that something the AMA issued?
It actually was my uncle's racing number when I grew up. He raced forever, and I was usually 61, but I chose 603 to be my pro number so I could keep the number going in the family.
Is your uncle going to be here watching your debut?
Yep, he'll be here.
A lot of family and friends here.
Oh yeah, my grandparents, everyone's coming, all my friends, so I'm excited.
Does that put more pressure on you? I mean, it is your first Supercross, and now you got your family, friends, your uncle's old number and stuff. Does that add a little bit more?
Definitely a lot of pressure, but I think it motivates me too. I just want to ride good and put it in the night show so they can all watch me ride.
I'm going to be rooting for you, man. I want to see you, and I know JoJo Keller and Jimmy Dakotas are hoping you make that main event also.
Yeah, thank you. I need all the help I can get.
So welcome to Monster Energy Supercross, Patrick. It's his first laps out there on the track, the muddy track here in Gillette Stadium in Foxboro.
And he's actually bumped up. He's sitting fourth now with a 130 there with about just under a minute to go in this first qualifying session here. Remember, we're on a shortened program, no free practice, just 2 qualifying sessions. Just hang on to it in the whoops. The Feld track crew is going to be busy today picking up guys and helping them out.
You guys are getting around there pretty good, though. Lots of respect to these athletes out there. It's cold, it's windy, it's wet, it's muddy, but hey, you're still turning the throttle, getting around there making laps, trying to get into this night program. And like you said earlier, it's going to get better. The field track crew will work on this thing, and it'll improve.
Well, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When I used to ride, you know, it would rain. Keith McCarty and the guys at Yamaha wouldn't let you go out on the Supercross track because it ruins it and puts ruts in it.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go out there and practice.
Practice
it's not like
Supercross.
these guys are going to go practice a Supercross track in the rain. They're going to practice here today.
Right. As we're watching Patrick DeLowry there, I don't think he has a factory practice track to go work on. You know, he probably has a couple buddies and some places he can go ride. But he's getting around there really good.
Yeah, there's the double now and single, and maybe the next qualifying session, the track might be a little bit more drier where you can do it. Let's watch Patrick DeLowry attack the whoops here, just kind of rolling through them. And
it looks, you know, like that doesn't look the best, but I'm telling you, I can't express how much balance it takes to get a motocross bike through those whoops that deep and make it through.
Put it this way.
It's tough.
Take a concrete at a 45-degree angle and put Wesson oil on it. Now try to go up that.
Go up that on a bicycle.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Exactly, Jim.
It's hard. It's
Tremendous
hard out there. I
skill
feel for these guys today.
And balance from these athletes. This time's ticking away. Checkered flag is out. It's like David McFarland's going to be the fastest, followed by Nick Desiderio, Tyler Wozni, Patrick DeLowry, and Mark Weishar rounding out the top 5. The next group's getting ready to come out. They've been sitting there in the tunnel cold and watching the 250C group out there getting around the track and batter up. Your turn, buddy. Time to attack.
Yeah, now they got to go back there and get prepared, but they're not going to go back. They're going to want to watch the A guys and see exactly how they're getting through and trying different sections of the track there. But want to stay warm today. It's going to be cold during the day. You want to keep those big jackets on as we're getting a look at the top 10 there in that 250 Group C qualifying first session.
So it was a success for Patrick DeLowry there, you know? Top 4, not bad. You remember he came up through the AMSOIL Arenacross. Ricky Carmichael rode to Supercross and got his points a couple years ago. And a lot of action going on there in the Ford Idaho Center in Nampa, Idaho last night. Gavin Faith got a big win, but Chris Bloss was right there with him. But Gavin Faith inches forward, has a 1-point advantage heading into tonight.
Well, and you talk about it, they were tied going in. Jacob Hayes, their teammate, sitting in third. Chase Owens, 110, and Ben LeMay, top 5 there. But that is close down there, and I know that last weekend in Tacoma, Gavin Faith won also, so he's kind of getting on a little bit of a roll. Can't wait till May 6th in Las Vegas. That final race is going to be really good.
Yeah, him and Bloss are bringing it right down to the wire. There's tonight there in Nampa, Idaho, and then in 2 weeks the Vegas finals in the Orleans Arena. So gonna have to check that out. That's gonna be great. AMSOIL Arenacross has been rocking all season long. We're rocking here in Gillette Stadium, Jim. The winds are blowing. It's pretty cold. We're clicking off qualifying. It's an abbreviated schedule. But coming up next, what do we got? 250 B. Yeah, so, right.
Couple guys in that B class there. And, I was walking through the pits today. I saw the number 14, Cole Seeley, making his debut. He's probably thinking, wow, maybe I should have waited one more week.
Right.
Nah, Cole's a tough kid. He likes the mud. He'll be all right.
Right. Well, speaking of Arenacross, let's go ahead and check out some more AMSOIL Arenacross action.
On Friday, May 6th, the top Arenacross riders to battle for the championship crown when the AMSOIL Arenacross Finals comes to Orleans Arena in Las Vegas for the first time ever. Then, on Saturday, May 7th, the top Supercross riders converge on Sam Boyd Stadium for the final round of Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. Dungey, Reed, Stewart, Canard, Barsha, Millsaps, and more battle for the title of Supercross champion. Get your tickets now for back-to-back nights of championship racing. Las Vegas Finals Weekend, featuring the Monster Energy Supercross Finals and AMSOIL Arenacross Finals. See supercrosslive.com or arenacross.com for tickets and details.
There we go, 250Bs fixing to fire off at the MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. Going to be some more action here in the mud. They got around there pretty good, but the track, I think, in my opinion, is worsening. It's starting to get more ruts. The whoops are all combed out, and
Well, we're going to have to see. 124.0, that's the best lap time in that C group. Let's see what the B guys can do. But they had an opportunity to go out there and kind of look and see the C guys out there and see really where it was slippery at, what they were doing. They know that, hey, okay, I don't need to roll this triple. I can double it. I saw the guys doing it. The key is, can I triple it?
Right. Well, I don't know, Jim. I don't think we're going to see
Wait till them A guys get out there.
Yeah,
I guarantee you they'll do it. Not a problem.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've had mud races before in the Monster Energy Supercross as the B riders get underway here on the ATV, MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate, and they're getting after it right away.
Yeah.
You notice.
You want to be in the lead,
yeah,
man,
you
especially today.
See, yeah, they're definitely getting after it already because they got a chance to see those C guys. They know exactly what their bike's capable of doing.
Right, coming to the set here pretty quickly is going to be superstar tight end for the New England Patriots, Rob Gronkowski. The Gronk coming to Race Day Live, so that's going to be fun to talk to him. And
who's 87 that rides the AMA? Who's got the AMA number 87? I bet you that's who's Rob. We'll have to look and see.
Right.
Yeah, see, they saw those C riders. You see how the timing sections now, they know hey, it's starting to dry out. Those guys kind of got it, some lines and some mud sloughed off of this thing.
As we're watching Eric Grondel getting around the track right there, it looks pretty good, getting through the rhythm sections. Oh, it's going to be fun to talk to Gronk, though, and got his new energy drink that's debuting here today. Talk about fantasy. You want to get Ron Gronkowski on your NFL fantasy team, that's for sure. He's a touchdown machine. It's Jacob Williamson, 373.
Yeah, he making his debut in Supercross also today. Looks like he's getting around there pretty good, Jacob. Follow him around here.
Yeah, there's a good line cutting in. You're right, Jim Hawley. Starting to get, I don't know if anybody's going to send that triple, though. You're thinking the A guys are going to jump that? I don't know. On a 250F today?
You want to bet?
What do we want to bet? Push-ups or money?
Money.
I can do more push-ups than I got money.
No, they'll send it. I guarantee it.
All right. We got Jim Hawley. He's guaranteeing things already.
I just looked at, you know, how easy it is for them to double it, and I watched another rider roll that first one and double out of it.
Gauge.
So, yeah, I mean, I think and the A guys are getting a chance to look at the B and C guys here and see what they're doing, and they're going, okay. You got to remember that suspension they got on a lot of those A guys' bikes. Even if you do come up short, it's not like coming up short on production suspension. We talked about it a few weeks ago in Indy. You know, the guy who wins the main event is the guy who's going to make the least amount of mistakes. There's going to be a lot of mistakes tonight.
Yep. Eric Grondel leading him around. I don't think live time and score he's updating, but nonetheless, there we go. Yeah, he's at the top. Don't have any times, but that's okay.
A lot of the fans starting to fill in here.
A lot of fans coming in.
Foxboro.
Right. Yeah, I guarantee there's going to be a lot of fans around the set when Gronk comes up here.
There it is, 127.
Jacob Williamson to the top. Still got a lot of time, about 6 minutes and 45 seconds to go.
4:21 there.
Van
That's
Martin.
Van Martin. Come on, Van.
Watch out for the plywood. Now you can't be upset with these guys going around the whoops today, Jim. It's pretty rough.
No, I'm all right. You won't hear me say that. Yeah, it's
right.
You know, Andy, you're seeing a lot of the lap times that they're starting to, starting to drop down there. I mean, 127, 128, 128. a 129 there. So not bad lap times. Like I
Yeah,
said,
they're
it's
getting around
starting
there
to
good.
fill in there real good.
Right. Yeah, you're right. It is getting better.
Look at Jacob Williamson
all
up
we
to
need
the
is
top.
a little bit of sunshine, and it's gonna, we got the breeze.
Yeah.
Get some sunshine going, and everything's gonna be good.
Just needed to get to dry out a little bit more.
Yeah, get some
I think
lines.
as the more and more we get,
right.
The guys on the track, the more and more it's going
Right.
to dry out.
Well, coming to the set from the University of Arizona, all-star tight end for the New England Patriots, Rob Gronkowski. Welcome to Race Day Live, man.
What's up, guys? How
Hey,
you
nice
doing?
to have you in the house, man. What do you think? What do you think of your field? This is normally where you and Tom Brady are hooking up, making touchdown passes. Now look at it.
They're tearing up the field just like we tear up the field, baby. So it looks great out there. I like when they hold different events here. It's just not a football field. I like how they run it out to other acts, concerts are here, dirt biking here, Supercross. So it's super cool to come here at your own stadium and see other live events, and it's a blast. And I'm super into this. I used to dirt bike when I was younger, four-wheel and all that. So this is a cool event. And having it rain out right now, track looks a little slippery, but it makes it more intense.
Right. You know what else is super cool? Your new drink, the Gronk from Monster.
Yes, man. Yes, it's the Monster Energy Gronk. I call it the Gronkster because Monster and Gronk together a little bit. But, yeah, I partnered up with Monster Energy Drink. Went in with them. Just their persona, my persona. I feel like we just fit together. My energy I bring, just having an energy drink. I went, picked out the can, did the whole can with them, picked out the flavor, and it's just an unbelievable fit. They're amazing to work with, Monster. And this can that came out with the autograph on it, the shininess on it, I just love it, and tastes great, and just love working with Monster too, man.
Right, well, you got to be having a lot of fun today. You got the Gronk bus down there. There's going to be Monster Energy girls, and look at the crowd. Everybody's crowd to hear. Let's hear it for Rob Gronkowski.
Oh wow, that was crazy.
Right.
But, you know what's crazy is I come from LA and I'm wearing a jacket. I'm freezing my butt off, man. You don't even have a jacket on.
Yeah, you know something. It was 80 degrees yesterday.
Yes.
I looked at the weather. It was supposed to be in the 60s, but when it's windy is what makes it cold out. Just like a football game. When it's windy out there, you're cold. If it's cold out and there's no wind, you're not really that cold. But it's definitely cold right now, a little chilly with the wind, but hopefully it clears up. But, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I'm used to it.
Right, playing this stuff.
I play in the snow. I play in the cold. So, just got to suck it up for a little bit.
That's cool.
You guys are freezing. You're shaking right now, man.
I'm being a
you need
baby
another
right
coat.
now.
Yeah, you're LA. You got 72 and sunny every day.
Little inside information, Rob. We're leaving the hotel this morning, and he has his polo on. He looks at me and goes, "Do you think I'll need my jacket?"
Think I'll need my jacket today?
I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna need your jacket."
Tough like you.
I should have worn my jacket too, but I was actually gonna wear shorts. I'm so glad I wore jeans.
That's cool.
You know, a good friend of mine, he always has his saying, and our producer Teresa said, that Rob Gronkowski, he's a hunk of man candy.
Oh, wow.
You ever heard that before?
Sometimes. Once in a while. I mean, you just got to stay humble and keep drinking your Monster Energy drinks. It keeps you looking young.
Hey, who came up with the bus? Was that you? Was that Monster? I mean, I was in it the other day, and I checked it out. It's nice.
Yes, the bus is actually wrapped. The Gronk Party bus is actually wrapped in Monster, which is my Monster drink now, which is all wrapped around it, which is super cool. And the inside is super cool. Holds like 20 people. You can party on it, have a good time. And what's cool about it is we just always grew up, my family and I, my friends, my brothers. We always went out. We always running out of a party bus up in Buffalo whenever we went out. And we just always had a blast on it. Brought us to where we needed to be, brought us home. Everyone got home safe. There was a lot of action going on. So if I was thinking whenever I make it to the NFL or whatever career it is, if I could get a party bus, I would. So we got a party bus, and now we do things with it, rent it out. Bring it to events, wrap it up in monster drinks. So it just goes great. And whenever we need a ride out in town, we just hit up the Gronk bus, baby.
Perfect.
You said earlier that you rode four-wheelers and things like that, but I know Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, they're not letting you get on a motorcycle anymore, right?
No, not
Okay.
at all.
Yeah.
I was really a big, a four-wheeler fan growing up. As a kid, we had a huge backyard. We had many acres. We had trails that went on for miles and miles. Just love whipping out the four-wheeler whenever you're just chilling at the house. Just wanted to go do something, get out of the house. You just whip on the four-wheeler, you call up your boys, and you just go riding, man. It was always a good time. And just let yourself free, I kind of feel like. I feel like those guys out there right now, only thing they're thinking is get big air, win the races, and
don't crash.
Just don't crash, and just their minds are probably free out there, so they're playing the football game.
Are you looking forward to Supercross tonight here?
Oh, always looking forward to it. I love that kind of stuff. My parents used to bring me to the monster truck type things growing up as a kid. Monster Jam. So that kind of stuff definitely intrigues me. Just love watching it. Love watching the races when it all goes down, and just the final ending too, when everyone's super close, is my favorite.
Cool. Well, how's it going in your neck of the woods? You guys made it to the Super Bowl last year, but your sophomore season, 17 touchdowns, 1,327. Looking like 2016, you're going to be able to do that again?
Right now we just started off-season program on Monday. We got the whole team reporting. Everyone's looking like they're in great shape. It's just great to be around the guys again. You got new players coming in, which you want to get accumulated with. You want to get the same timing as the new players. So that's what the off-season program's for. And going into the season, I mean, right now, the only thing we can control is what we can control, and that's doing the best we can, get in the best shape we can be in the off-season, building up your body, putting the foundation on your body with strength so it can last you the whole season. And that's what we're doing right now. Everyone's working together, and everyone's doing great.
That's awesome.
You talk about your receiving yards, and you were saying rushing yards. I mean, I've seen you make a lot of catches, and I'm a big fan of yours, and I watch you. You got a lot of linemen that's still on you. You make yardage after you catch the ball. You just don't catch that ball. I mean, you're rushing too, and you're going to that end zone.
Yes, definitely. I take pride in that part of my game. I always been like that my whole career. Just whenever I get the ball, I feel like my strength, my size, you got to use that to your advantage. I mean, I don't got the speed as DBs, safeties, and stuff, so I got to use my advantage, and that's my size and strength. So whenever they get hit on me, I can get some extra yards, maybe break a tackle. That's what I like to do.
Well, speaking of speed, here's our top qualifiers here in 250B. It's Daniel Hairline's the fastest, followed by Joshua Cartwright on the Blue Buffalo machine. Logan Carnell third. Grady Featherman and we got Joshua Cartwright twice there. He dropped back down to fourth, but that's cool. But what I think is really cool is the connection you have with your quarterback, Tom Brady. And how long does it take you guys to get where it's just subconscious, where he knows where you're going, you know where he's going? That's the magic, right?
That is the magic, and that's what's so great about being on the same team with him for the last 6 years. I'm not going to lie, walking in my first rookie year, it just wasn't clicked like that. He was throwing passes, I was dropping them, I was in the wrong spot. He thought I was going to be there, he was throwing it over there. He was yelling at me, and I'm like, no, man, you told me to do that. So it's it's all about it's all like anything else. A business first starting up, you got the complications, the chemistry's just not there. But after you work, you got to keep grinding, you got to keep going out to practice extra. And it took about, my whole rookie year staying after practice with him for about an extra 10 minutes, just him and him throwing me the ball, extra routes. And when it really clicked, when we really got on the same page, was about 6 months after knowing him, which was about 3/4 away into my rookie season, and is when we really clicked. Started clicking in the games, in practice a lot more. He knew where I was going to go. He got the feel of my body language. I got the feel of his body language. So just so far now, though, we go out on the field, we're right on page. We know exactly, after being 6 years now, we improve every year. He knows exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly what he's doing. Now, every once in a while, he'll throw a ball over there, or else I'll throw the wrong route. But it happens, but you never want it to. But most likely, 99% of the time, we're on the same page, which is great, and that's what's so good about going into the 7th year with him now.
Very cool.
After your 6th season, you talk about going into your 7th year. What have you improved on going into your 7th year? I mean, you got a great work ethic. You got a great off-season work ethic. I mean, I'm talking about with the party and everything and having a good time. But when it's time to go to work, you go to work. What did you improve on this year?
What you got to improve on every year is just knowing the game of football. You can never not know enough of the game of football. The schemes, the type of players, studying film, seeing what their strengths are, taking their weaknesses of the opponents and using it on your advantage and using it against them. Just stuff like that. The pace of the game. Every time you're out there, every time you're practicing, it slows down. You know where players are. You know how to get open. You feel like you know how zone defenses work. And also just the physical part of the game, too, just always staying on top of my body. As you get older, those hits, I'm telling you, they feel more painful every single year, the recovery time. So you got to be on top of your body. You got to make sure you're taking care of it during the season and make sure you're available every week. So when the game times comes, you're feeling good and you're ready to perform.
Well, speaking of being available, thank you for making yourself available for Race Day Live today. We know you're cold. We know you got things to do. There's a lot of people here.
I'm definitely a little chilly for sure.
But we got the 258
You're getting
guys.
cold now, Gronkowski? Come on now, man.
I'm not cold.
Give me a hard time.
It's good. I'm getting ready for the season.
All right, that's what I like to
Good
hear,
luck
man.
in 2016. And
good luck to you boys this year, man.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
cool, man. You can hear that in the background. That's the 250A guys getting ready to fire off. But how cool was that? Rob Gronkowski, future Hall of Famers, big guy.
You know, I like it when the stick and ball guys come to our sport, motorcycling. So cool. You know, it just adds a different element to it. They really enjoy, coming here, and he's over there signing some Patriot helmets there. It's just cool that he's here, and he really enjoys it, and that's why I wanted to ask him. I knew he wasn't. He said he rode a little bit, earlier, but the Patriots aren't letting him ride now. Not this time of the season. Maybe in the off season.
It's cool how well spoken he is and how versed in his genre in football. And I really wanted to hear about the connection with him and his quarterback, because those guys make magic on the field. Just like the Monster Energy Supercross guys are with their mechanics. it's a close relationship.
Yeah, as we get to see the A group here take off here in the MX versus the ATV Supercross Encore starting night, and we got a bet here, Andy. We're going to see who can see. There's old Shane just hitting that double right away, and that looked pretty easy. I bet he comes around the next time and pulls the trigger and does that triple.
All right, I'm down for $20. No way. You down for 20?
I don't know. I've been losing a lot of money to Gannon Audette lately.
Yeah, I don't think it's too muddy for the triple on a 250F.
It'll be a gentleman's bet, a beer. I'll bet you a beer, but if I
go
win,
for that.
You can get me a chocolate sundae or something.
Sure, I'll go for the
milkshake. I'll take a milkshake. I'll get you a beer. You get me a milkshake.
It's a bet.
I just think that somebody's going to have to do it here. I mean, they have 10 minutes to kind of figure it out. And we've got a chance to see. A lot of the riders are going to see they'll have a rag. As we're watching Malcolm Stewart, you see that rag out of the back pocket. That's in case they go down and their gloves get wet. They can wipe the mud off. They can wipe their grips off. I know that James Stewart's probably listening in to us. Sorry that speedy recovery, James, and get ready for the outdoors. I know James Stewart posted that won't be back at Supercross this year, but getting ready for the outdoors. And I'm sure he's watching his younger brother here.
Yeah, Malcolm will be just fine in the mud. Florida guy. Always seemed to me like the guys that were good in the sand were also good in the mud. Malcolm's been riding long enough that he's pretty much good in any conditions. Those whoops are tough. As you see, I think that's
it looks like
Plessinger. Yeah.
Yep, Aaron Plessinger, the man who sits second, a point down from Malcolm Stewart, going down in the whoops. Our producer Teresa is getting a picture with Gronk.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. She's a big fan of his. See Brandon Williamson over there snapping a few photos.
Yeah, we got to thank Aaron Anderson from Feld Entertainment for helping get him here on
He's so tall he's got to duck his head in the easy ups.
Yeah. It's funny listening to him say it hurts when he gets tackled. How big do you got to be to make that guy feel pain? I mean, when he said you were shaking, I know why you were shaking.
Yeah, I was scared. There's Malcolm seat hopping there. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, that was the monster.
Thought you got yourself a milkshake.
He's getting up there. He's starting to feel it here, Malcolm. Starting to feel it. As he's just turned in a 120.3 for Malcolm Stewart. Shane McElrath a 122. So Malcolm already a couple seconds faster than everybody else. Let's see here. He's entering into the whoops there, Malcolm. And
doubling in.
Yeah, those whoops are tough.
I'm telling you, just doubling into those things is brave enough. Doubling out. So this is a good lap for him. Starting to get some lines cut in around that sweeper.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
downside that, yeah.
Fearless. Malcolm Stewart is not scared. That's your fastest. Well, it was your fastest.
Plessinger. Davalos now at a 116.1, a 119 for Tyler Bowers.
Martine.
You have to see if Martine's not doing that triple. I don't know if you're going to make up that kind of, that's 4 seconds. You're going to have to be doing a triple. Let's see where Martine's at. Hopefully you can follow him around and see where he's at. Getting a chance now, look at Tyler Bowers there. Bowers kind of checking a few things out. Now Malcolm Stewart back to the top with a 114.3. Somebody's got to be doing that triple. See here what happens. RJ Hampshire now putting in a good time, sitting third right now. There's Martin Davalos now, 49 on the factory Rockstar Husqvarna.
And Malcolm just jumped, yeah. He's got 2 seconds on the field. How much time we got left? We got a little over 5 minutes to go. It's Malcolm Stewart, Martin Davalos, RJ Hampshire, Tyler Bowers, and Jeremy Martin are your top 5. What'd you see?
Saw the
triple?
Pro Circuit. That was Bowers doing the triple.
No. I see him going through the whoops right now. And there's Martin Davalos getting around. Second fastest qualifier so far.
Yeah, I think that those first couple whoops, you know, the faces of them are really steep in there. Malcolm Stewart now shifting, downshifting as he goes into that first turn there. Trying to look for some traction.
Jimmy Albertson. Old top Jimmy's looking for a good ride. He needs to.
111 now for Tyler Bowers.
Wow.
That's 111.8.
Yeah, I think.
That's because he did that triple.
You might be getting yourself a milkshake.
Let's see, he's coming around now. See, he's going up high. He comes back down, and that time he didn't do it. He did a double single, but let's see what his lap time is this lap.
You know, the track's trying to get better, Jim Hawley, but it's still drizzling a little bit, and it's darn sure still cold. But if rain would just get out of here, we get some sunshine, this thing will work real fast.
Well, and I think with, you know, the Feld track crew after qualifying session, I think that it'll be good. You know, they'll have had some bikes on it, kind of rework it and everything. I think it'll be fine.
I do too. .48.
That's 48 there. That's going to be A-Rod, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Anthony Rodriguez. He looks good. Let's see him in the whoops. There's Bowers there. Let's follow Bowers around for a lap and see a few ruts starting to develop there. But
Jeremy Martin jumps up to second. So Bowers got a full second on the field. Looking good.
Slick coming out of that corner. Watching Bowers come into that first turn. He's going to go up high and double that.
He's definitely aggressive.
Double. And he's the bigger guy out there. Oh, lost the front end. He's not tripling now. He's only going to double single. A few of those ruts are starting to develop coming out of that left-hander.
It's a double-edged sword in the mud. You know, they always taught me, let the bike go wherever if it wants to go to the hay bales, you go to the hay bales. You know, don't fight the bike, but you also got to be aggressive. The more aggressive you are, the faster you go, and just like Tyler's charging through that rhythm section.
Yeah, and he's sitting down, seat hopping a lot of these sections there, getting.
However, yeah, it's a little sketchy. It's a lot sketchy.
Putting a little bit more, you're going to see a little bit of the riding style. You're going to see him up front a little bit more. You know, getting up on the front of the bike a little bit earlier in some of these corners because you don't want to lose that front end. You see how they're all going up high. Down in the low part, it's all slushy and wet still.
Yeah.
Got to remember, when you ride a Supercross track and it's wet like this, the water comes from the top and goes down. So you want to stay up as high as possible.
Yep.
Right, coming out of that right-hander back onto the starting line straight is hard as concrete down below underneath there.
Just about a minute and a half to go. It is Tyler Bowers, Jeremy Martin, Malcolm Stewart, Martin Davalos, and Gannon Audette running out the top 5. So Gannon Audette keeps his good roll going since he's jumped onto the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. You know, he got a 3rd place and a 5th place last weekend in St. Louis. So he's made a very good positive out of that. There you have number 1 and number 2 in points right there going through the whoops.
Jeremy Martin up to the top of 111.4 now, 111.8 for Bowers. And I'm not going to put any numbers in here because It may change. 1:11.9 for Davalos, sitting in third position right now. That's your top three. Malcolm Stewart with a 1:13.6.
Yeah, Plessinger's, looking aggressive. No Woods rider there.
Ooh,
flying
that
through
set
the
of whoops.
Flying through the whoops.
That's not that first section where we said, oh, hang on to it, hang on to it. Save that.
Yeah, he was trying to send it so he could get over the finish line there. But Aaron Plessinger sitting in seventh quick so far. I'm a little bit surprised at that. As you're watching number 175, Paul Coates. And there's A-Rod going through the rhythm section. Number 48.
Let's see how...
There's Gannon. Matt Bisceglia. Matt Bisceglia with the podium already this season.
Yeah, third up in there in Toronto.
Toronto. That was the crazy main event.
That's it for the finish line. Looks like it's going to stay. Looks like it's going to be Martin up front.
Sure does. And I think I get a beer from you, Jim Holly.
Oh, yeah, beer.
I'm cold. I want coffee.
Okay.
I don't want beer. Definitely a coffee right now would be fitting. But, Jim, we can't complain up here. Those guys are out there on that treacherous track, and all we got to do is sit here on those headsets on and try to list the fast times and have a good time.
Jamie McElrath jumps up into the fourth spot with a 1:12.9, just ahead of Stewart. Stewart in fifth.
It's getting a little better, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, I think each and every session it's getting a less.
We got the 450 big dogs coming up next.
There's the top 10 right there.
Yeah.
Jeremy Martin, Tyler Bowers, Martin Davalos, Shane McElrath, Malcolm Stewart, Anthony Rodriguez. A great performance for him in that sixth. Luke Renzlen,
Yep.
and Gannon Audette, Aaron Plessinger, and R.J. Hampshire, your top 10. But look at the difference. A 1:11 for the fastest, and 10th, a 1:16.
Yeah,
Pretty
1:11 for the top three, though.
Yeah, that's good time.
Definitely dropping the lap times here. We're going to see and hear from Jeremy Martin with Miss Ashley Phillips. We'll get to hear firsthand what it's like out there.
With Jeremy Martin as he comes off the first round of qualifying. Jeremy, we didn't get a chance to get out on free practice, but coming out and qualifying, you were able to set some pretty fast times out there. Tell me a little bit about the track conditions and how you were able to move so much.
Yeah, the track's sketchy. I mean, you're just going around everywhere. Those one set of whoops are so big that, we're just rolling through them, and I feel like the biggest goon ever going through them, but they're so, the corner, it's hard to get enough speed, and then the whoops are so soft that if you tried to feel them, I feel like you could endo in them. So, I'm just trying to get around the track. It's pretty gnarly.
It's kind of one of those things that we know what we're getting into when we're here with Monster Energy Supercross. You have to deal with all kinds of conditions, and everyone's riding the same track out there. Tell me a little bit of how you have to adjust your bike or maybe your riding style in these sort of conditions.
Yeah, like here, it's all, you want to be all about finesse and Supercross, precision, every lap, perfect. But here today, you're far from perfect. It's like riding in the outdoors, and we're just doubling everything, so it's a bit different.
Well, building off that win last weekend in St. Louis, let's hear it for the fastest qualifier in round number 1. This number 6 Yamaloop Star Racing Yamaha rider, Jeremy Martin.
So that's just about what I figured. You said the most treacherous part of the track out there, the whoops.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you notice that we talked about earlier how the guys are preparing. You see that long visor.
Yeah.
Just drop the head just a little bit, keep that mud off of the lenses there on the goggles there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's going to be a good one tonight. It's just. Oh.
250 East has been crazy all season long. Now we got a little bit of weather, got a little bit of mud. You know, 5 different winners in 6 races. Jeremy Martin's the only guy that's won twice. He's got himself kind of back into points contention. If he goes out and wins again, he gets that much closer. You know, we still got MetLife. We still got Las Vegas. So that championship is going to come down to the wire for sure.
He's probably hoping Gannon Audette can get up there. Tyler Bowers can get up there and get a little bit more. He's going to have a little help, though, I think, also.
Number 167 there, ladies and gentlemen, that's Benny Bloss. Got a good opportunity there to jump on Davey Millsaps' ride with the BTO Sports KTM crew. So good opportunity for him. Big guy, 6'4", I think he is.
Got to take it.
Yeah.
Got to take it. And he's probably happy right now it's raining because now he doesn't have to ride that 250. A bigger guy on the 250 takes away. He's got the power now. Look at Dungey. He wants to get out there first. And Alessi.
Whole shot. We got him scheduled to come up here and join us on Race Day Live, but with the way the schedule is, if he can't make it, we'll forgive him this time. But he's been riding really good.
Brayton too. Brayton's going to come up also, right? Yep.
Yeah. Alessi, got the whole shot in Indianapolis, won the heat race in St. Louis.
4th of his career heat race win, first of 2016 heat race win, but that's where he's going to struggle at, right there in the whoops.
Never been very good in the whoops. He's gotten better, though. That's one of the things I really want to talk to him about. He's been riding Monster Energy Supercross for a long time and stayed healthy. You know, he's got a lot of career starts. Been on the same team over there with Mike Genoa, Moto Concepts. But that's another thing I kind of want to ask him about is, you know, he can go out there and prove he can win a heat race. He's done it 4 times. Ride with the best in the world on a given day, but in the main events, it just doesn't seem like he wants to drop the hammer or whatever cliche you want to use and stay up there in the top 5. He likes to hover around that top 10 where he's safe.
No, he's just got to go into that main event, look at it like it's a heat race.
Tiger and go for it.
I mean, he's done it before in the heat races. He's done it for, 8 laps. There's the man on the cusp of another championship.
It wouldn't surprise me if he wins in the mud, or if it's still muddy by the time these main events roll around. That man right there can ride a dirt bike on the moon. Pretty amazing season. Pretty amazing 2 seasons is the kicker there. You know, going back to the last time he missed the podium at the season opener in 2015. Not very many mistakes from the man from Belle Plaine, Minnesota.
Well, if you just watch him go through the whoops there, he didn't even make a mistake there. I mean, he just kind of rode through them and everything. And he's very precise and calculated. He's not going to take any unnecessary risk. Trying to look who's behind him there. I see a yellow fender kind of, that's Kenny Roczen right behind him in this first qualifying session. Kenny Roczen lost the front end there as they went around that corner there. He's okay. And a chance now to look at Weston Pike there, and there's Brock Tickle, I believe, or no, that's Kenny. Kenny back up and going.
Kenny Roczen, the only man in the field at Monster Energy Supercross that's improved his position after every single start. Through 14 rounds, we're at round 15 today, but Roczen's been hungry. He's got 3 wins on the season, looking for a 4th. That man right there, it's been pretty tough sledding. Been injured off and on, and had a little bit of controversy, but Weston Pike, a man that had 2 podiums last year, and time's kind of running out for him to get another podium. Stranger things have happened, though. He could do it.
Is that Alessi down there in the whoops, or was that Vince Freeze? Trying to look and see as Weston Pike went by him. That looks like Mike Alessi.
There's Brayton. Hopefully we'll get to talk to him.
There's the bike there. That is a 800. Mike Alessi having problems in the whoops there.
He's had the 4th fastest time so far, but you'll notice, Jim Hawley, Eli Tomac jumps up to the top with a 1:12. These guys aren't getting around the track as fast as Jeremy Martin did.
No, 1:11.4.
What do you attribute that to? The heavier bike and, maybe?
Yeah, we're looking at Chad Reed now. He's making his way around Mike Alessi. But I think that, heavier bike, you got a lot of power. You can't use the power. You're getting more wheel spin coming off of the corners.
Yeah. Still ain't nobody jumping that triple.
I want to welcome back Cole Seeley now.
Absolutely.
Sitting sixth fastest right now. I know Brian Seacrest gave me a text and said, hey, man, Cole's back after 3 weekends off, and good to see the number 14 out there on the factory Honda.
Here's the man that's fastest in qualifying so far, Eli Tomac.
Yeah, this could be, you know, we left him off of a mudder. Eli Tomac's good in the mud, and this is kind of outdoor stuff. You know, you saw Jeremy Martin the fastest in that 250.
Think that'll translate over to number 3?
Could be. It's a mudder, like in Massachusetts. That's how the
It's a wicked mudder.
Wicked mudder.
Yeah. Jake Weimer.
Look at Weston Pike now jumps up into second there. Now Ryan Dungey goes to the top with a 1:12.1, but still not as fast as Jeremy Martin. Get a chance now at Jake Weimer there, number 12.
There's Benny Bloss.
Wow.
Big guy.
He even looks bigger on the 450
he
than
does
he
look
did
bigger
on
the 450. Yeah. Benny Bloss getting around the track right now, sitting down in 19th.
Weston and is that 55 next to him there?
Yeah.
Vince Freeze?
Yeah.
Well, Kenny Roczen now up to the top, a 108.5. That's 4 seconds, Andy. Faster than Dungey. Kenny Roczen over.
It's a good lap. Maybe he hit the triple.
We'll have to look. Still owe you a beer, though. That was the 250. I would have thought there would have been more 450s, to be honest. But like I said, they got a lot more power. They got a lot more wheel spin coming out of that corner. I guarantee a heat race time, somebody's got to be doing that triple. Somebody's going to be doing it. The track's going to be in great condition come heat race time. There's Marvin Muskin now rounding that right-hander there. Notice his right foot was down the whole time there in that corner. Just don't want to lose that front end.
Been a good rookie season for the Frenchman there. He was really knocking on the door of a win. I think he had 4 podiums in a row, a couple second-place finishes. Woulda, coulda, shoulda won that one in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And that man right there just kind of, he's rained on a lot of people's parades this season.
Well, when I talked to you, before the track walk, I was down in the pits, and Marvin was on his warm-up bicycle, and I asked him how the wrists were after last week. He said, yeah, they were a little bit sore, you know.
could tell in his crash in the main event in that rhythm section when he landed in the transition, it looked like his wrist might have gave out a little bit.
Well, and the thing also that I asked him about is his hole shot device during that main event engaged. He had to pull in to the mechanic, Frankie, and he had to disengage it. It locked on. And I talked to some guys about that, and they said, yeah, it happens sometimes when you're out there and all of a sudden the forks will just lock down and you got to pull in. Yeah, I thought something maybe happened to his front forks, but I went over and checked with him, and he said, no, the hole shot device engaged on its own.
No good at all.
Yeah.
Eli Tomac, 108.3, followed by Kenny Roczen, Justin Bogle in third, Ryan Dungey fourth, Trey Canard fifth.
And you mentioned Bogle, a 4th place finish for Bogle last week, his best of his 450 career, and just kind of knocking on the podium door. He could be a podium guy here.
I think so. 2014 250 Eastern Divisional Champion Justin Bogle. Again, had a couple injuries this season in his rookie season in the 450 class, but he's fought back. A lot of talent with Justin Bogle.
You know who we talked about good in the mud? Number 51, Barsha, but he's sitting in 17th right now. So that's I was surprised to see that 17th. I thought he would have been more up there.
I am too.
And the man from New Mexico, the Lobo, Jason Anderson, back down there in 18th.
Right.
So I'm not sure if they're not happy with some of the bike settings, maybe.
I'm checking to see. It's still a light, drizzly rain, Jim. And this track is trying its hardest to try to get better.
There's a guy that could win tonight if he gets a start.
Yeah. Old Trey.
And he could get it tonight.
He's won everything there is to win, but the main events, he's been fastest qualifier. He's won heat races. He just hasn't got that start. He hasn't had a podium in 2016. That's kind of a shocker to me.
There's my boy Andy over there, JoJo Keller getting ready. JoJo looks like he could play against the Gronkowski there. JoJo could be a lineman.
Ten seconds to go. Time has run out here in 450 Group A qualifying. Eli Tomac at the top, followed by Kenny Roczen, Trey Canard, Jason Anderson, Chad Reed jumping up into the 5th spot. Going through the top 10, 6th is Bogle, 7th Pike, 8th Ryan Dungey, 9th Tickle, and Justin Brayton rounding out the top 10. That'll do it. Checker flag is out.
You think those will stand, Andy? I can write them down. You think they'll be good?
I would assume so. Dungey's out there on a heater right now. And he's down in 7th, so he'll probably jump up a little bit. Give me a couple seconds on that there. See if Dungey comes around. Yeah, and Dungey jumps up to 4th. So Tomac, Roczen, Canard, Dungey, and Anderson. You were just talking bad about Anderson down there in 7th. He jumps up into 5th position. He must have heard you, Jim Holly.
I told him better get going.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to be hearing from Eli Tomac. Fastest qualifier again. He was the fastest qualifier last week, too.
Monster Energy Kawasaki, the number 3 at Eli Tomac, 108.3 the time, and one qualifying session down, only one more to go. No free practice, not ideal conditions, but it could be an ideal night to get a win here at Gillette.
Yeah, you know, crazy things can happen on nights like tonight, and it's really important to get a good gate pick, especially for a muddy start like it is. And felt good out there. It was all about just staying clean as usual, and man, we're getting around it decent. It's pretty sloppy, but the main line, at least we're moving, so it's not so bad.
You know, some of that grease on top, but some of the corners look like they're actually pretty dry. That main line of racing, it looks like could be some good traction once that other soft stuff gets out of there. Could be some great racing the entire afternoon.
I hope so. It just depends if this keeps drizzling or not, so we'll see how it goes.
If not, somebody's got to win. Could it be Eli Tomac? Let's give it up for the Monster Energy Kawasaki, the number 3.
That's it. Heard it from Eli Tomac. Got it around there. Fastest qualifier so far. But we got some very special guests coming here to Race Day Live. Mr. Doug Henry, Mr. JoJo Keller, and more are coming up. We're going to have a few words. From those guys. It's going to be fun to talk to them. And, you know, I can't wait to talk to Doug Henry. What a legend. You know, one of the gnarliest guys to ever ride a dirt bike ever. But
well, and JoJo Keller on how he did all those scrubs back in the 80s. He's the one. Maybe James Stewart was watching some of those scrubs, and he got the idea from that.
Right. It's going to be fun to talk to those guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. AMSOIL. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha. From world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
We're for guys who like to make things go faster, higher, farther. Guys who want to be the top tech, get the W, and stand on the podium. Teams want you. Riders need you. Because without you, the bike stays in the pit, and championships aren't won. Top motorcycle manufacturers help build MMI's programs so you can get the education you need to achieve success. That's why top teams hire MMI grads. We're for success, your success. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. To learn more, visit mmitech.edu.
Supercross Championship in 2015.
I just woke up one day and it clicked, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna be someone that rode a dirt bike and that tried. I'm gonna become the best. To be the best, it takes sacrifice, it takes a dream and a drive.
Striving to be the best, it's super critical to have a strong team behind you and a strong motorcycle. Being the best is everything, you know, that's what you want. It's where you want to be.
It all just comes down to how much passion you have for the sport.
The bike is everything to be the best.
Never give up, chase your dream, and if you work hard now and you sacrifice and you do what you're supposed to do, you can live the rest of your life as a champion.
The Yamaha champion YZ450F and multi-champion YZ250F.
Rainbow Studios. Are you ready for more? MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore. The off-road legend returns with the next generation of graphics. Set yourself up with all new gear and bikes. Tear up the track in Outdoor Nationals and Waypoint races. Meet up and explore in Freeride. And for the first time ever, Rhythm Racing. Available now.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Welcome back to Race Day Live in Foxboro, Massachusetts. We're here in Gillette Stadium again. Monster Energy Supercross returns. So it's been a great day. The rain's still coming down a little bit, but the track's getting better. And we have two very special guests joining us here on Race Day Live. A couple of New England legends, JoJo Keller, Doug Henry. Welcome to Race Day Live, guys.
Welcome, boys. Good seeing you as always. JoJo.
Thank
cool,
you.
I'll take one of those.
Thanks for having us. It's an honor to be here with you guys.
So, JoJo, you and Jim go back a long ways.
We sure do. In fact, you know, my first few races on the national circuit, you know how when you're back there, you always seem to, you know, be grouped with one guy, and my guy was Jim Hawley, so it was pretty cool. He was from Southern Cal, and I was from this end of the country, and so we'd come back here, and I'd usually be able to edge him out, and we'd go out there, and he'd always, you know, beat me, but then we traveled around the world quite a bit. Been to Australia a couple times, and
behaved yourselves the whole time.
Without question, right? We've had more fun than anybody's got a right to. But it's great seeing him again.
You know, my wife said to say hi when we'd go to Australia. We'd do a layover in LA, and he'd stay at the house and everything. And she asked me, she said, you know, because she's a nurse, and she said, what happened to JoJo's nose there? And I said, well, we were in San Diego, and he used to run a visor that, like Magoo Chandler Danny had, and it stuck out, and we got off one night, and JoJo sliced the end of his nose off, but they were able to keep it.
Yeah, yep. My mechanic told me when he saw him sewing it up, it looked like he put a detonator cap in there, so not to bump it. But
That's awesome. Well, you know, it's great to have you on Race Day Live. Pretty cool to have Monster Energy Supercross back here in Gillette Stadium. Have you been following the series, JoJo?
I sure have. I've always followed it, and you know, with you guys, with Racer X and Supercross Live, it's made it a lot easier. So I never miss a race, and you know, it's special for me because I'm also a huge sports fan. So you know, I've been coming here to watch the Patriots for years,
right.
And you know, I remember about one of my last pro races was when we were here in '90, and I remember seeing Doug out there, and he just absolutely destroyed those guys. And I mean, I knew then that I'd had a good career, and it was time to hang it up. But it's great being back here, you know, and just the history. There's a lot of things that, you know, remind me, like Roger DeCoster reminds me of Belichick, and you know, we gotta, you know, it's just funny how all sports are kind of related. So being back here is really cool.
Awesome. We got some photos of you, JoJo. We kind of there's one.
There it is.
I know James Stewart looked at that and said, "That is the first Bubba Scrub that JoJo Keller did in the '80s."
Yeah, that got a lot of notoriety from that one. I was riding 125s and obviously quite a bit heavier than the other riders, so it was hard for me to keep up with these guys if I got too much air. So
that's classic Southwick right there, right?
Yep, it's a good one. That's 82 500 national.
Well, actually, that was a 480 back then, but it was a 500.
Right.
And then here's the old YZ 490 photo.
86, the YZ 490. So the most amazing thing to me is Brock Glover won a title on that bike, and against those water-cooled Hondas RCs, and anyone who's ever ridden them, Jim rode them quite a bit. They were a good bike, but compared to the water-cooled Hondas and the other works bikes, they were a handful. So anyone who could have done what you and Brock and those guys did on them is amazing.
It is amazing. And you guys are still paving the way for guys like Patrick DeLowry, you know, and he knows who you guys are. And Doug, it's cool, man. You've been following the series pretty closely this year?
I have. You know, it's probably I followed it closer this year than probably many other years, you know. And I don't follow it right to the T. You know, I don't see it every weekend. Sometimes I have to catch up with it later in the week. But it's been some really good racing. Right. I was really excited to watch some of the racing. And my son gets into it, and some of the kids around that hang out, they're into it. So we'll watch some races and go out and do some riding here and there.
Well, this 250 East has probably kept you pretty excited. You know, you're the 1993 125 East Coast champion. And this year's championship, wow, you know, 5 winners in 6 races. Jeremy Martin, Martin DeValos, Stewart, Plessinger, all those guys. You know, it's been pretty exciting to watch, huh?
Yeah, it's great seeing, like, classes that are stacked, you know. They're so even like that, you know. And, I mean, I think there's been some really good racing in the 450 class. I mean, last weekend, I'm not sure where the battle was. It was, like, towards the, you know, a little bit back there.
Yeah.
But there was 4 or 5 guys going for position. Yeah. And, you know, it was like it was first place, you know, to all of them. You know, it was good racing.
See, and that's interesting, too, because old riders like us, we look, it's just not the 1 and 2 guys. We go back and we look at 5th and 6th, maybe 8th and 9th, and there is good battling all the way through.
Well, that's the thing. You remember the battles, you know, like you win some races, you know, there's some important races that you win, but there's some amazing battles that you have. You know, and like you were just saying with JoJo, you guys have had some killer battles, and I've had some killer battles with Jeff Emig and McGrath in here, and I can remember some of those good ones. And, you know, you remember those battles.
On a day like today, I'm sure you remember the 1995 Dallas Supercross.
Absolutely. I've heard about it already, you know, and when they were going through the whoops like that. I mean, that was the only race I think I've ever singled every whoop, you know, like every lap, too, you know.
To win.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was so slippery.
We're getting a chance to look at some of the guys behind us here dealing with the track. Cade Clayson now a 119.1. Michael Lacaden behind him at a 119.3. Talk a little bit about what some of these guys are going through. You see them come out of that right-hander. It's hard dry underneath there. It's hard to get a hold of the ground here.
Yeah, you know, you'll notice, like, I mean, I just watching the riding style. I don't know if people can see this on TV or not, but, you know, in the mud, a lot of times you'll catch guys waiting the back tire, you know, just to get the traction down. And, you know, right now the track's probably a little bit better when it started because they are down to some hard stuff. It's not really so slippery, but it looks like the ruts are getting there. They're starting to form, and, you know, a few lines and stuff. And, you know, I mean, basically for these guys, it's just a matter of getting a good lap time, you know, getting a feel for the track, getting a feel for their bike, and just getting a good lap time in.
You know, you were a beast in the sand. You know, at Southwick, you won a whole bunch of races there. Did you always kind of tribute you guys that were good in the sand to mud?
I think there's a good similarity. You know, I'm not sure. You know, the riding style is definitely more hang off the back. You know, in the sand you really don't use your front end a whole lot. In the mud you don't use your front end a whole lot.
Right.
It's really just riding the rear of the bike.
Yeah. But you hear that sound. You know, that's a familiar sound now. But you made that sound the first time in 1997 in Las Vegas, and it's crazy to think that was the first one by a 4-stroke that you won, and now it's just the norm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be a part of that history. You know, I mean, for me, I kind of, my father was a machinist, so I came from a machinist background. I kind of wanted to get into it a little bit. My dad wasn't so much about getting into it, but
there's some of the footage here.
I mean, we worked hard. We worked hard when we, you know, getting ready for this race. You know,
how sweet was that bike?
It was for that track. It was the best. You know, like I knew when. You know, after I'd come off my broken hand and we were coming to this race and we had some carburetor issues, and I was like, if we could get those things figured out, I think we could win this thing, you know, and you know, we went there and won it. We could, you know, it was unbelievable the first time, but it was really cool.
Well, you talk about that, you know, you had to change your riding style. It's a whole new machinery. A lot of the engineers from Yamaha were involved in it, Keith McCarty, but also Pete Steinbrecher. I mean, he had to learn how to rework a motorcycle. He's used to tuning wrenches on a 2-stroke.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a bit different for him. I mean, the chassis was, you know, a little bit of an issue just because of the way the weight was and the engine braking and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was a learning curve for all of us. For me, my riding style, for the mechanics, for, you know, the AMA, you know, they had to deal with some, you know, a 4-stroke that can hole shot, you know.
Right.
I mean, the thing just came out of the gate like a tractor, you know. Just they worked really well.
97 was an interesting year. You had a chance for the title that year. You know, you won.
This is a good photo that I had. Sorry to interrupt you, Andy, but that's when you rode for Honda and when you were winning the 125 East Coast Championship.
Yeah. It was my first year at Honda, and you know, they wanted to do a 125 program, and you know, they called me up, and I kind of had a deal with Kawasaki and Honda. They were both asking me to race for them. And I called Mike Kodrowski because he had ridden for both teams, and I said, hey, you know, what do you think? And he goes, well, if you want to win, you know, go to Honda. You know, even if it was a little bit less money, you know, I was like, you know, Dave Arnold was there, and he was just, you know, a nice guy. And
it's probably the last time you rode a YZ250 2-stroke.
Yeah. Victory lap, or parade lap, I should say. It wasn't a victory, but it was a victory for me.
It was a victory.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun going there and just hammering out.
And that's the classic bike in 1997 there. Yamaha made it a production bike in 1998.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really cool bike, and I'm so happy. I had asked them. I said, hey, is there any chance, I don't care if it's 20 years from now, can I get that bike? You know, and they said, you know, a year later they said, here you go. You know, it's yours. And I was just so thankful because it was the bike from Japan, and it was the one that I raced on, and right now it's at the AMA museum down in Ohio.
Well, now we're on the big screen here in Gillette Stadium there. We want to welcome in Doug Henry, a legend here in New England, and JoJo Keller here, guest on Race Day Live.
Yeah, good stuff. Good to come out here, New England weather. This is a New England Supercross we're having here.
Yeah. This you couldn't have it any better.
I know. You know, if I was racing again like this, no, I wouldn't sweat this event. You know, like. I would kind of have a little grin under my helmet, you know, the whole day, you know.
Well, and you talk about here, 1990, you finished up 8th. Another New Englander, John Dowd, in the 250 class, finished up 17th. And I got to go way back when me and JoJo were riding here back in 84. I ended up 15th. Me and Howerton had a problem there. But, JoJo, you were down in 20th. What happened that night?
Yeah, I was really looking forward to that day because it was a mudder. And, you know, I believe in what you said. There's a big correlation between, you know, sand and mud riding. And I was a sand rider and enduro rider. So I was very excited when the track conditions became wet. I think I had some of the fastest lap times. And then I was on a production Suzuki that year, you know, just coming off the Hondas. And I had actually the mud got packed up in the shifter, and I got stuck in first gear. So I had won my semi or whatever, and was really feeling good, you know, because Doug and I, you know, his first big win obviously was in the mud, and I had some real good success in mud races, so I was licking my chops. And sorry to see me at the end of the list there. You never like having to turn the page upside down to find your name, but
that's all right though. But hey, you had great success overseas, and I'm talking in Australia. And Doug, I got a funny story and Andy to tell you real quick. In Australia, one time we got off in the first turn, and I'm trying to get up frantically to get back into the race. Some guy's pulling me down. He's pulling me down, and it's JoJo. He's saying, "Jim, stay down. We'll get a restart. We'll get a restart if we're down."
That's a smart man right there.
That's a smart man.
Cool.
Growing up with the Betancourt family, and a lot of dirt tracking and watching those races, and there were all sorts of hijinks going on. But I knew we didn't have much of a chance, on that track by going down on the first turn. So do anything possible to try to get a restart.
There you go. We got a couple other photos we wanted to show you guys of Doug Henry. Doug, that's when you got inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame there.
Yep.
And that's a new bike that you're riding now. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's my 09 WRZ, I call it. It's actually started out as WR because I wanted the electric start and the electronics for the shifting. And, Fabulous built this cage because, I'm strapped to the bike and I didn't want to get more injured than I already am. So I wanted to protect myself if I did go down in a crash. And I didn't want to ride tentative. I wanted to ride to the best of my ability, and I didn't want to have to slow down. Right. And so we put that cage on, and it's been tested many times, and it's saved me a bunch of times, and it's been such a blast. It's been a whole new learning curve for me, which I had a lot of fun with, and I got to ride with guys that normally I wouldn't ride with. When I was able-bodied, I could, go really fast, but this slowed me down quite a bit, so it put me in a new class with all my buddies, and I've had so much fun riding with them.
Well, speaking of being in a new class, you're being honored here today by Legends and Heroes. You guys are going to have a lot of fun in tonight's night program, and are you looking forward to that? I am. It's funny because I'm a good mud rider. Yeah. But now that I can't put my feet down, and dab a little bit, it becomes a little bit tricky. So it's going to be tough out there doing a little parade lap, but I'll do my best. Well, JoJo, Doug, thank you very much for coming on Race Day Live. Have fun tonight. Two of the baddest dudes from New England. Thank you guys. We're going to be right back. We're going to have Justin Brayton join us here in a little bit. He's been out there on the track, so stay tuned. AMSOIL. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha. From world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute invites you to text SX to 82257. Enter for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4 LE. Again, text SX to 82257 for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4 LE.
Get ready for RM Fantasy SX, the ultimate Monster Energy Supercross Fantasy Challenge from RockyMountainATVMC.com. We're giving away over $100,000 in prizes, and it's completely free to enter. Top season prizes include a brand new 2016 Toyota Tacoma, round-trip tickets with hotel to fly you and a guest to Rocky Mountain ATVMC to pick up your brand new customized FMF, KX450F, or KX250F. There's also a VIP trip for two to see the 2016 Monster Energy Cup in Las Vegas. 4th through 10th place season winners will be awarded prizes from Pirelli, GGR, Dunlop, Alpine Stars, DC, and others. Weekly prizes will be awarded from major brands. Just sign up on our secure game site, make your picks, and even get into group play to get your game on. And for more details, sign up today at rmfantasysx.com. For ages 18 and older.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
Welcome back to Race Day Live. It is round 15 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. Monster Energy Supercross returns to Gillette Stadium in Foxboro, Massachusetts. Coming to the set right now is BTO Sports' Justin Brayton. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Did you have a good first qualifying out there? You liked it?
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, obviously, when we come to open domes like this, we look at the weather like all week, and there was one point where I'm like, oh, man, it's definitely going to be mutter. And then it kind of switched gears, and it's like, it's going to be like 70 and sunny. This is awesome.
Yeah, yesterday was like 85 degrees.
Yeah, it was
sunshine.
great.
Yeah.
And then wake up this morning, and I was expecting maybe a little bit of, showers last night, but woke up this morning, and I was like, oh, man, here we go, mutter. Right. So it wasn't too bad, though. I think the Dirtworks crew is going to do a great job and get us a track that we can really race on tonight.
What are the toughest spots out there?
I would say the biggest thing is just getting all your rhythms clean.
Yeah.
And really just looking forward and that's going to be the biggest thing, especially for 20 laps. As you guys know, if the track's dry, we still make mistakes. If it's muddy, we make a lot of mistakes. So try and eliminate those or minimize them as much as you can. And I would say the toughest part right now, hands down, is probably the whoops.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to start blitzing them probably the next practice, and they're going to get really chewed out. And just trying to get the whoops and trying to get all the rhythms clean.
What about that left-hander coming up to the approach to the triple there? It looked like I thought at one point a couple of the guys were going to do it, but then it started to rut up coming out of that corner, and I saw the guys losing a little bit of the momentum, and I think, okay, I see them chop the throttle. They're just going to double single this.
Yeah, and the rut basically starts from the beginning of the turn all the way to the face.
To the face, yeah.
To the top of the triple. So if you can get your balance right, we can jump the triple. If you don't, then you just got a double single, which is a lot of time. It costs you a lot of time if you don't triple.
Right. But in the second half of the season, Justin, you've really come on strong. What did you find? Did you find something at a practice track or with the machine? But you're riding really good. More importantly, you're getting good starts.
Yeah, I think, I feel like I've been riding fairly good all year. I think just confidence.
Yeah.
Man, to run up front week after week just builds confidence. And with confidence comes speed and knowing you belong there.
Yeah.
I've been there for years, but last year I had a injury-plagued year, and it's like you kind of have to rebuild a little bit.
Right.
And I've done that the first half of the season, and I feel stronger than ever now. My speed is awesome, and just need to seal the deal. I feel like I'm putting myself in positions to seal one, and just hadn't quite got it done.
Last week I saw you were in a good position. You're running up there and everything, and things are starting to click for you. I got to ask you, we got a clip, and we're going to show it.
Right.
And I'll walk you through this and tell me what's going on right now.
Right now, I've got a good start, and I went into third, and That move is what I'm not too pumped on. Yeah, it was lap 7. The leaders were doing 54-second lap times, and so were Jason and I. And we were still in touch with the top 2 and the top 4 guys at a big gap on 5th. And it was just I feel like it wasn't a necessary move at the time, and especially up the face of a triple. And I'm totally fine with aggressive racing. I came from Arenacross.
Right.
We bump, and it's fine. But there's a way to go about it. For instance, Dungey and Roczen have been going at it lately. They race clean. They race good. They're professionals. They're the top of their game right now. And I feel like that's what Jason needs to do, and because that's how I race.
Right.
If he's going to be a top professional for years to come, which he probably is, he's going to have to learn to race better. And it's the 3rd time that it's happened between us, and I'm just sick of it.
Right. No, I saw you in the
honest,
airport the next morning, and I knew you kind of had the old lower jaws out a little bit, and I was like, are you okay? And you're like, well, nope, that's it. That's the last straw.
Yeah, it's kind of like my wife said, 3 strikes and you're out, right? We're not playing baseball, but we're racing motorcycles. And, man, we all work hard at this. My team works tremendously hard. I work hard. There's money on the line. There's pride on the line. And we want to do well.
Right.
And his defense is probably the same thing.
He wanted to get
but
to
let's
the
race clean. And it's not like I was holding him up. Like I said, we had a huge gap on 5th, and we were doing 54s. If you look at the lap times, no one else was doing 54s except us 4 pretty much at the time. So I could see if I was completely holding him up and the leaders were getting away straight away. Yeah. It's a little bit different, but still you can make a pass somewhere else.
And you look at something like that, and it's frustrating to you because you're saying, well, okay, he had the pass. You made the pass on me. You're going to take over that position. But you didn't have to keep going and send me over the bales.
Yeah, the thing was he didn't really have the pass made, so the only way he could make the pass was to basically force me off the track. And if he would have
to look at it again here.
Yeah, if he would have made the pass clean, I mean he's 2 bike lengths behind, and there was no commitment to jump the jump. And if it's a small rhythm section, it's one thing, but it's a triple, and if I happen to go for it, it doesn't end up good. So.
Right, but
just unfortunate.
Yeah, moving forward, you got your goals, and that's on one place, and that's to get on the podium. And you've been really close. You got 3 more rounds to go. It's a little bit muddy here, and it's going to be challenging tonight. Is that going to work into your favor, you think?
Yeah, I love it like that. Actually, this morning I was talking to the guys on the team, and a really, really muddy Supercross isn't that enjoyable because you're rolling everything. But a Supercross like this, to where it's sketchy to jump the jumps, and some guys aren't jumping them and some guys are, I think, it tends to go in my favor because I'm a little more technical rider, can stand up, and so I'm excited for it. Gonna have to get a good start, and I feel like my starts have been awesome all year. So I'm ready to get it rolling. It's cool that we're back in Gillette Stadium. It's awesome to be up here.
Yeah. It's interesting when you look at a track like this and you see the Feld Motorsports crew out there re-grooming it, and you go out there for that final qualifying session. You went, unbelievable job these guys did here. I mean, I've been at some races where I've seen it I'm thinking there's no way this is going to be a great main event tonight. It's just going to be sloppy, and you get a chance to go out there and you went, unbelievable job.
Yeah, it's just like, they say we're the world's best racers. They're the world's best track crew.
Yeah.
And they know how to get it done. And it was weird kind of walking the track for track walk. And we're like, man, it doesn't really look like they've touched it, but they have a plan. They have a plan all day. And I'm sure we're going to have a good track to race tonight.
I think so too. Yeah, you guys messed it up once. They're going to fix it. You'll mess it up again. Then they'll fix it again. By the time the main events roll around, it'll be pretty favorable. Speaking of favorable, how are things on your BTOsports.com team with Forrest Butler? It seems like you guys got a really good thing going over there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been awesome. The bike, I'll tell you what, it's so fun to ride. And during the week, it's funny. My mechanic and I have been staying down in North Carolina around Charlotte, and at this point in the season, sometimes it can get a little monotonous, and you're like, all right, man, I'm going to go ride 3 days this week and do my 20s and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm still having so much fun, and it's really, really hard as a racer, and you guys know this as well. It's hard to find a bike that you truly enjoy riding every day.
Yep.
Because we're looking for that 1% of, can I hit this faster? Can I do this a little better? Oh, the bike's kicking me there. This one, honestly, it's been so much fun to ride, And week after week, I've been motivated, and it's fun to come to the races and feel like I have a legit chance to get on the podium.
You know, with Andrew Short, your teammate, and Davey Millsaps that are injured over there, and Benny Blas, he came over there and he's filling in for Davey Millsaps. Are you doing a lot of the testing? Like I know that Andrew, you know, he's running, you know, testing different shocks and different forks. Does that put you into the role, or you say, well, no, I'm good with my settings?
Yeah, I'm pretty much good with my settings. Andrew runs the air, forks, and air shock. I run the spring, and Andrew's kind of commitment to KTM was that role. Mine hasn't been. Mine possibly could be moving forward, but for the past 2 years, do a lot of testing, you know, preseason. But now that we're into the season, I haven't. Man, I might click around on a little bit, but I haven't changed it hardly at all.
You know, Andy, something that when I talked to you, Justin, a few weeks ago, it might have even been a month ago, but you and your wife have a special relationship as far as, I mean, she's almost like, I don't want to say your coach, but I mean, you discuss things in your plans and you guys set goals together. And, you know, I remember telling, she said, hey, our goal is just to, you know, we're not at the podium yet, but we got to get some top fives.
Yeah.
And you started doing that.
Yeah, and it's awesome having her involved. You know, I eat, sleep, breathe dirt bike racing.
Yeah.
And honestly, she has to too. And the commitment level that it takes to be here, it takes a whole family. And she's definitely involved for sure. We have a 2-year-old daughter now that, well, she'll be 2 in a month and a half. But she comes to the track about once a week, so they'll come and hang out. They came this past Thursday, and Parker, my daughter, loves to ride around with me on the bike. And Paige, my wife, I mean, she can be intense too. And if I'm not where I need to be,
she'll tell you.
She's going to tell me, and I like that. I honestly like that. Hold me accountable.
Right.
And I'm not gone 3 or 4 days a week, or actually with the traveling, I'm not gone 6 days a week for me to run around in 10th place, and she doesn't like that either, so I like it.
You know when you're doing good and you come home and you get a nice steak dinner.
Yeah, that's right.
You just got the hot dog and beans. You need to
that's
step
right.
it up.
Or no dinner at all.
There you go.
Some easy mac.
Right, that's tough.
Yep.
Well, good luck tonight, Justin. Thank you for coming on Race Day Live. We know
Thanks
you got to get to
Good
work.
luck tonight.
Right. Speaking of work, it was Chad Reed's 200th career start last weekend, so it was only fitting that we chose the MMI Top Tech mechanic with Mike Gosler. Let's take a look.
Mike Gosler, congratulations on the MMI AMSOIL Top Tech Award. $1,000 goes to you. You and Chad Reed, you've been together a long time, and you've won a few of these over your career, but I mean, what's this mean to you?
No, they're great to get. I mean, you got to give all the credit to the team too and the rider. You know, I'm just a small cog in the wheel.
You know, Chad, sometimes he's a hard guy to work for. I mean, you guys have changed things from the heat race to the main event and came out and won main events. I mean, he's a little bit demanding, but he knows what he wants.
Yeah, he knows what he wants, and you know, it makes the job interesting. We all learn, and it definitely makes the day go by fast.
You know, tonight here in St. Louis, what were some of the signboards you were giving Chad out there? I know he had to come through the pack. He had to battle a little bit tonight.
Yeah, you know, he was almost dead last because he got pinched off in the first turn, almost went down. And at one point, P4 was possible, and I kept putting that on the board, you know, but he had a little bit of a clutch issue at the end and couldn't ride up to his potential. And yeah, P4 was right there, you know, it's not too bad coming from almost dead last.
All right, well, Mike Gosler, congratulations on the MMI AMSOIL Top Tech Award. Enjoy the $1,000. I know you're just going to spend that with the team and enjoy it.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, Jimmy.
Here we go, Mike. And we're back here in the Race Day Live set. Mike Alessi, Motos Concept, Smart Top Racing. Welcome to the set, man.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Mikey.
Thanks.
Well, we saw you jump out there in the first practice session. You were leading him around, but then you had a little bit of a spill in the whoops. But how is it out there? Is it pretty treacherous?
It's pretty gnarly, to say the least. It's not easy. It's going to make professional athletes look like novice beginner riders this weekend. So hopefully the sun comes out, but it doesn't look very likely. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be important to get a good start tonight, be up front. That's the main key tonight, is being up front.
We'll talk about that a little bit. In the second half of the series, the starts are back, man. Banging some hole shots. You got a big hole shot there in Indy, and you got some heat race hole shots. What happened there? You kind of lost them for a little bit, but it seems like you got your starts back.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, it's been my key as being such a good starter, but over the year, the technology of the motorcycles, and everybody's picked up on the technique, so it's not really a secret anymore, and everybody's gotten to be a good starter, so just one of those things where I got a lucky one there in Indy. Yeah, we're watching
that's
it right
Indy
now.
right now, and you came out of there and you had that whole shot. You picked up $1,500 from Supercross Live, but then you let Dungey get by you.
It's number one on a bike for a reason.
Yeah, but it looks like your speed's picked up a lot too. You know, winning that heat race had to be super confidence-inspiring. Your 4th heat race victory of your career. You know, I mean, it has to let you know you can go out there and race with the best in the world.
Oh, for sure. You know, these are the best riders in
Yeah.
the world by far. And, you know, I'm out there competing with them and, you know, trying my best to beat them. And that's what we're here to do. And, you know, Smart Top Moto Concept has been such a great team for me and a great atmosphere. I love riding for them. Mike Genova is a great guy. And the whole morale of the team, and we all get along great. So, yeah, I wouldn't be happier anywhere else than where I'm at right now.
You know, we just had Justin Brayton on, and I mentioned his wife, your wife, Danielle, very involved in your racing and helping you out. You know, she brings a lot to the table.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The wives, you know, it's the ones who are not getting enough support or recognition behind the scenes is the wives, for sure, or the girlfriends, because they're the ones who put up with you, you know, all day, every day. And sometimes I feel like we're like prima donnas and we act like girls, but at the end of the day, they still love us, and you know, they're there for us, supporting us, and that's the biggest thing.
Right. Well, it's going to be tough, but you've been around long enough that you can ride in any conditions: sand, dry, hard pack, mud. What are you doing to your bike to make that thing as good as you can for the conditions here today?
Well, not much, honestly.
That's,
just riding the same, you know, suspension and tires that we've ran all season. There's nothing really else that we're doing to the bike to make it different. So just one of those things, get a good start, ride up front, and try to eliminate the least amount of mistakes that you can, and that's what's going to be key tonight, other than getting a good start and being up front, because it's going to be important to pick lines and be smart, because the track will change every single lap.
Yeah.
And as long as you do that, I see for sure a good finish tonight, being in the top 10, maybe even top 5.
Right. Well, and you talk about that top 10. You've had some 9s, 10s, 11s. You've been hovering right there. Is tonight the night we're going to break into that top 5? I mean,
for sure.
Why not? I want to hear it.
I mean, it's a race. Anybody's going to do good. Sure. I mean, you just get a good start, right up front, be aggressive, and you hold your position. Don't look back. And that's it.
You know, I know in your career you came up with your brother and everything. It's good to have your brother, and he's making main events and stuff. I know that the relationship you have with him, you guys talk a little bit about, you know, like when you come off from that A practice and he's in the B, do you tell him, hey, Jeff, do this, do that, and vice versa?
Not really.
No? Okay.
I just grab my mechanic and back to the pit because, you know, we got things to debrief about the bike, and if we need to make changes and different stuff like that with the tires or whatnot, we can make the bike better. So I kind of just stick to my own self. He's my brother. I love him for sure, but I got to go back and, you know, get my bike where I need it to be, and if there's changes that need to be done.
Right. We see a lot of you guys when you're out there in those qualifying sessions. You'll come in and make changes, just little things like compression, rebound on your shocks. Or are you doing anything else?
A little bit, like we'll go maybe 2 or 3 stiffer just because of the mud, but really, like I said, we're not doing much to the bike this weekend. It's just get out there and race and just have a good time, and just, like I said, make the least amount of mistakes you can tonight, and that's going to be a huge, huge part of it.
How's it been this season? We dubbed this the most, the deepest field we've ever seen. You know, at the beginning of Anaheim 1, there was 20 factory riders, and you've been in the middle of the pack all season long battling those guys. You know, we just had JoJo Keller and Doug Henry on, and they spoke about watching in the middle of the pack. There's just battles everywhere. How chaotic is it out there in that 450 class?
It's pretty gnarly, to say the least. It seems like I'm around a past champion or a race winner every single time I'm on the track. Yeah. So it makes it super competitive and great for the fans, and that's what they love. They want to come to the race and have a good race to cheer for. And like you said, everywhere on the track there's always a battle, whether it's 5th, 10th, and 12th, whatever it may be. Yeah. It seems like there's always a battle and going on, and that's awesome for the fans, because that's what they came to see, is a race.
Yeah. You talk about that battle. Last weekend we had your clip of your 4th heat race win of your career, and you didn't have much of a battle up front. I mean, you kind of checked out.
I just got to start, didn't look back, and just had fun and rode good. It was,
got the job done. It had to feel really good.
That key section right there, that triple going into that right-hander there, you were doing it. James just double, single into that corner. That was huge for you.
Yeah, the track was tricky last week with the ruts at the bottom of the trannies. They were really rutted and soft. So you had to pick your lines smartly and be smooth through them. And I feel like through that rhythm that you're talking about, the 3-2-3 into that right-hander was key. And it made the difference. I just, like I said, rode good and had fun and won the heat. It was good.
When you're out there and you're leading a heat race like this,
good corner there.
Your mechanics, what are they putting on the pit boards to you, just kind of letting you know, like, how far second is behind, or do they even put much out there?
He just was putting P1.
That's it. Huh?
That's it, just P1.
Still winning. That's good.
Oh, thanks, guys. I
You know,
appreciate
Mike, one of the coolest things about you that I think, you're a student of the sport. You watch this really closely. What's your opinion on the 250 East this year and transitioning into the 250 East-West shootout for points? What do you think about that?
In one word, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. You never know who's going to win. You know, Plessinger is such a great rider and a background with GNCC. This is kind of right up his alley, this weekend's race.
Right.
So, and then you got Malcolm, who is fast for sure. Probably, hands down the fastest guy of this series, but
Agreed.
He's making mistakes. And with those mistakes, he's losing points. And right now, going towards the finish in Vegas in 2 weeks, this is the crucial time for him to limit those mistakes, because Martin, who's in third, is on a hot streak. He's winning now, and he's riding good. So, like I said, there's only one way to explain it. That's exciting.
Yeah, and you talk about that exciting Las Vegas, May 6th, the East-West, the points will count for each championship. That's going to add a different element.
Right. Trust me when I say this. I'm excited to watch the racing at Vegas rather than be struggling to get on the gate and focus on picking a good gate for my heat. I'm going to be sitting there with my arms crossed, be I'm watching this main event for sure.
You think Cooper Webb has him covered, or you think Malcolm's got the speed to step up there and battle with him?
Cooper Webb?
Yeah.
You're talking about the
West Coast, yeah. When they
when
go
we get to
East-West
Vegas.
head-to-head, in Vegas, do you think anybody has the advantage here, the East or the West?
They're pretty similar, honestly. Yeah. It's going to be a good race.
Savachi and Craig are tough, and Colt Nichols is tough, and the East is pretty deep. We got 5 different winners.
The biggest thing is that they're all so young, so they're just full of piss and vinegar, so they're just ready to just go at it and just kill each other. So I know what it's like, man, being in a championship chase, and it's nerve-wracking. You have to control those emotions and be able to stay level-headed and calm on race day, because that's the biggest thing, is letting the excitement get to you, and your heart rate starts spiking, and then you completely stop thinking, and then that's when mistakes happen.
Absolutely. Well, we know you want to be on the podium, but you're one of the smartest guys in the pits, and you're a big student of the sport. So we want to do our Rocky Mountain ATV MC fantasy picks. Who do you got in the top 3 tonight? If count yourself if you want.
My
of course.
class or the 250?
In the 450s.
Man, I don't know. It's hard to bet against Dungey and Roczen being on the podium for sure.
Yeah.
And obviously Musquin with his.
Here's our top picks right here: Dungey, Roczen, Anderson, which has been the podium for the past 3 weekends in a row. And look, shaping it up here, they got a little bit of a point lead there still. S. Martin 4. So a Toyota Tacoma is going up for grabs. If you can believe that, Mike, you've seen how far our sports come. They're giving away pickups now for fantasy. Isn't that cool?
Well, they didn't have that a decade ago.
Right.
That's for dang sure. They did not have. We're giving trucks away for fantasy picks.
Mike, another thing that's really cool, it's our second weekend in a row we're on Fox broadcast channel. It's a day race, You guys are going to be put through the ringer a little bit. It changes your program up, but it has to be worth it to know that it's growing the sport, and we're being in front of audiences that have never seen it before.
Whatever we can do to make the sport grow, I'm all for. Yeah. And for us to be live on Fox, that's huge. That's awesome. We're going mainstream right now, and that's why we need a good race tonight. Put on a good race for the fans and the people that are at home watching, so they're more interested, and we can get more bigger sponsors into the sport, and make it grow. That's what we're all striving to do.
So you'd like to see some more of those day races?
I would. It's hard waking up at 5:30 in the morning. It's not fun. I'll be honest. I'm not used to waking up at 5, but I'm all for being done by 4 or 5 o'clock, and then hopefully catch an early flight out 8, 9 o'clock, and then be home, by a midnight or so, and then wake up Sunday morning and go to church and do my thing and have a good off day and just relax.
Well, you remember last weekend we were talking before your heat race, and you're like, man, it just kind of feels weird. I don't feel right. And then you went out and won the heat race. So maybe this is kind of
it. It was weird last week. Probably the people that are in the stands, it's like I woke up. I had my normal breakfast it was like 7:30, right after track walk. It was 7:30. And I felt really weird in my stomach. I just, like it was like turning. I shouldn't have ate. So the rest of the day, I had a piece of chicken between practice and the nighttime, and that just didn't sit well. I started to feel sick, not good. And then went out, won the heat, and
felt better.
Winning will always make you feel a little bit better for sure. But I rarely ate at all on race day, and it was weird. Yeah. And I rode awesome, and then the main event with about 4 laps to go, I definitely started to feel really weak, weak feeling. Like I was like, oh, dude, my muscles are starving for some protein and some energy right now. We need some food. And this weekend, I kind of went with a different approach. I had a smaller breakfast with oatmeal and banana. I just had a small lunch just now, and then we're going to do our next practice, and then I'll have a bigger lunch, and then that'll be it until tonight after the race. So just kind of, changing it up. It's tough because it's a night race or day race compared to the night race, so you have to change almost everything. You're sleeping. Like last night I was in bed at 8:30. I was passed out by 9. Yeah. During the week, you're lucky to go to bed by you're in bed by 10, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So it's just totally different. Where during the week you're practicing at the butt crack of dawn, ready to get on the track while the moisture is still good on the Supercross track, which is like 9 o'clock. So it definitely changes things up. But if it's for getting our sport bigger and better and making it more mainstream, I am totally for it, and I'm sure the fans super appreciate it.
How about today? Your mindset coming into today, you only had 2 qualifying sessions. There was no free practice. Do you change your? I mean, that first you just go around one lap and then, hey, I got to start going.
Well, I was lucky last weekend. We did press day, and then this weekend they told us to do the press on Friday because they needed the lap times just to be sure for TV. And so I got to ride yesterday, only about 5 or 6 laps. So I was lucky enough to be able to do a few laps yesterday. In the first lap of practice, I was just jumping. Not everything, but most everything. And it kind of helped out because I got a good lap time. I was 10th overall in practice and, sitting pretty for the next practice.
Right. Well, man, congratulations on a good, long career. Congratulations on kind of getting the afterburners going here in the second half of the series. Good luck tonight, man.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been tough for sure. And, I've enjoyed the ride. I've only got a couple more years of racing and doing this sport. And just as long as I continue to win the small battles, it'll equal the big picture and be in top 10 in the Supercross standings.
We'll go get that whole shot tonight, Mike.
Thanks,
We've got a whole lot of Race Day Live still coming up. Second round of qualifying action. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. AMSOIL. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC. Defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
I just woke up one day and it clicked, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna be someone that rode a dirt bike and that tried. I'm gonna become the best. To be the best, it takes sacrifice, it takes a dream and a drive.
Striving to be the best, it's super critical to have a strong team behind you and a strong motorcycle. Being the best is everything, that's what you want. It's where you want to be.
It all just comes down to how much passion you have for the sport.
Bike is everything to be the best.
Never give up, chase your dream, and if you work hard now and you sacrifice and you do what you're supposed to do, you can live the rest of your life as a champion.
The Yamaha champion YZ450F and multi-champion YZ250F.
Rainbow Studios. Are you ready for more? MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore. The off-road legend returns with the next generation of graphics. Set yourself up with all new gear and bikes. Tear up the track in outdoor nationals and waypoint races. Meet up and explore in freeride. And for the first time ever, rhythm racing. Available now.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
That's the way I like it, baby. I don't wanna live. That's right, baby.
And welcome back to Race Day Live in Foxboro, Massachusetts, and Gillette Stadium. That's right, Monster Energy Supercross is back here at Gillette Stadium, Jim, and it's going to be exciting. The track's getting better. The Feld track crew's out there making magic, and it looks pretty good right now. You know, we had the first round of qualifying take place. Now we got some track maintenance going on, so things are picking up.
Well, and you're going to see the guys, you know, after that first qualifying session, they didn't have that free practice. That was kind of like their free practice and first qualifying session. So I think now you'll see some of those transitions and some of those triple jumps being done, and you're going to see the guys getting through the whoops a little bit better. I'm sure the Feld track crew kind of worked a few of those, because on the other end, that other whoop section, they were kind of getting through there pretty good. So I think it'll be great, this final qualifying session.
You're ready to see the boys hit the triple, aren't you?
I want to see a triple today.
We know everybody tuning in and joining us here in Gillette Stadium. There's a lot of fans pouring in right now. The Monster Energy Party in the pits is going on. Ron Gronkowski's here. He joined us on Race Day Live. That was very special. But this, speaking of special, the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore Hot Lap. It's time to do it. Let's roll.
Well, there we go, Andy, and you're going to see, I'm trying to see what kind of track this is, which track we are
You're
here.
in Cleveland, Jim.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
I like this Cleveland track here. It's not quite as muddy as what we have here in Gillette, but needless to say, it's a great fast track here. You're seeing a lot of these nice transitions, and just look at the beauty. It's an open air stadium. I see that. Sometimes we're in a dome on the MX versus ATV.
Right.
But just a great game here.
Right, this is part of the downloadable Supercross Track Pack 2. It's got 2 uphill whoop sections, 2 big triples, lots of inside ruts so you can make passes on your competitors. But Jim, just a lot of fun playing this game. I know we had a good time, and I think we're in Glendale racing each other. We have a rematch coming up in Las Vegas, and you better get to practicing.
Yeah, Stefan Roncato's been teaching me. Something that I asked Stefan to do, I want to see a guy come in and stick a wheel in on me you know, when we're racing. That's what I really want to do. I want to get into some block passing and sticking a wheel in on guys.
Yeah, you just want to take me out. But remember, on June 7th, this will be released on Xbox One. So reserve your copy of MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore today. And it's a great game. It's a good time, and you'll enjoy it. I can personally attest to that. But another thing I can personally attest to is block passing. And we were just talking to Justin Brayton, and a little bit, actually a lot of animosity there between himself and Jason Anderson. He wasn't too happy about that move.
No, and I think maybe Cole Seeley would join him on that discussion there.
Right.
I know that Anderson and Seeley have been running into each other. Like when JoJo Keller was on, he said, "Hey, it seems like you always hook up with one guy, and it's either Anderson or Seeley or Anderson and Brayton." But they're getting into it out there. But
you can't be too hard on Anderson, though. You know,
no, he's aggressive. He wants to make a name for himself.
Throughout Supercross history, there's always been riders who are more aggressive than the other ones, and when they want to get to the front, if you're in their way, they'll perform a block pass and they'll get by. Right. You know, it's a special art to do a block pass. You have to set it up, get the angle right, and close them off on the corner, or in Brayton's case on the face of the jump, which is a little sketchy there. But we have a very cool segment coming up on block passing. Let's take a look.
In the world of Supercross today, the riders are so close, the speeds are so competitive. One of the ways to get the passing done is the typical block pass. It's very entertaining, too.
Block passes get intense sometimes. For fans, there's not a better race to watch.
It has nothing to do with bike setup. It only has to do with the pass.
So we're going to do a couple variations of block passing today, and for the ease of illustration, I'll be doing all the block passing. We have a left-hand turn coming into a set of whoops. I'm going to be coming up the inside. MC is going to be just in front of me. and I'm gonna run him high.
Duck underneath, go in, make the move, and get out of that corner as fast as you can.
Some of the tracks are tight or are really hard to pass on, and the only way to make a pass is to do a block pass. And preferably before a rhythm section, we run somebody high, so they have to scrub all their speed off and they can't commit and do the obstacle after the turn. And then you have 1 second to 2 seconds on them. And you know that the guy's not gonna be there the next turn and repay you for it.
All right, on the second pass, Ryan's gonna come up the inside of me into the turn and come in with a little too much speed, which is gonna allow me to brake, turn, and make the repass. That's a typical mistake on a block pass. You don't wanna let the guy go back underneath you, and that's what we're gonna show you.
You want me to make a mistake? I don't make mistakes, bro.
Yeah. It's important to get the block pass, get it done, get your gap, because the more you mess around with the rider, it's allowing the rest of the guys to come back up to you.
So for the third block pass, we have something that all of us riders really don't like.
It's a T-bone with absolutely no etiquette and a disregard for the other riders' safety, really.
A lot of times you'll see an explosion happen.
Well, hopefully you're not going to see the explosion part today.
It's coming into the turn really late, and the guy's already exiting the turn, and most of the time both people go down.
There's guys that you respect out there, and there's guys you don't. So that's going to dictate what kind of block passing is going to go on. As a rider, that's always a risky play.
You know, and I think Jeremy kind of summed up block passing right there. It's the amount of respect that you have for the other rider is what dictates how hard you block pass him. You know, you can be kind of nice with the block pass, or you can go in there and put an elbow on him.
Well, put it this way, if you go in and put an elbow on it, you better expect and not cry about it if the guy comes back in the next corner and does it to you. And in my day, there was a few guys that did that, and then you did it back to them, and they'd cry. I go, what are you crying about? You know, you did it to me, you know, so.
Universal rule, what goes around comes around, and that definitely applies to Monster Energy Supercross.
Well, what goes around comes around is the 250C group right now out there, and a good track for these guys. Now they can go out there and
hit some jumps.
Yeah, it looks good now. You see each and every time.
Yeah.
And now it's even going to get better when the heat races come. Once all these qualifying sessions are done here today, the Feld track crew will go out there and work their magic again and get this track just in prime condition for the Fox broadcast later on this afternoon for those heat races.
Yeah, Jim Hawley, exactly. Yeah, it'll be good by the time the show kicks off tonight. Like you said, exactly. A couple more times with the Feld track crew working their magic out there. This thing's going to be good. I think the rain's done for the day. The sun's not. I don't know if the sun's going to come out. I'd love to see it come out. I'm telling you, like I would really like the sun to come out. Been a rather chilly day here on Race Day Live, but nobody cares about us being cold.
Well, we'll see when the A group comes up.
The only thing that's important is these guys are getting around the track, hitting the rhythm sections, putting on a good show.
You're going to see a few of the transitions. There's still some ruts in the jump. They can't do everything. We're on a time schedule here, but I guarantee it, when the qualifying is over, they'll get all the ruts out of this whole track before the heat races start.
There's our friend, Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick DeLowry.
Fourth in the first qualifying session. Make no mistake, it's still plenty greasy out there.
Well, now Patrick, like you said, he's making his debut in Supercross here, 6:03 on that Husky, a New Englander, and he's now got one qualifying session under his belt, so he's going to be a little bit more at ease here, and we'll see if he can jump up maybe to the top of the leaderboard.
Track looks pretty decent, still slimy in some spots, but the pace has definitely picked up. These guys were running a minute 30, a minute 29 in the first qualifying session. Now they're down to, I see a 1:16 there by Nick Desiderio. Mark Weischer second in the early going here in 250C qualifying number 2.
You know how I feel bad for is after tonight's event, the Feld track crew has to wash all those tough block barriers, and some of them are just covered with mud. That's going to be a day and a half, 2-day job just in
a lot of work before we arrive at MetLife next weekend, that's for sure. But they're up to the task. Those guys are all beasts. They work very, very hard. It's a pleasure to work alongside the Feld track crew and just to be alongside those guys every morning for the last 15 weekends and see the amount of effort they put into making this show what it is.
Yeah, see, a lot easier to seat hop that double and get over the Monster Energy finish line, then come back onto that right-hander onto the starting line straight away there. You guys kind of just trying to stretch out a little bit.
Number 619 in your camera view right now, Mark Weishar. And we switch back over. Yeah, there's number 619 making his way. And they might be getting closer and closer to hitting that triple on 250S, Jim Hawley. Maybe not the C group, but the B and the A group.
No, it all depends on how that
won't be
the
betting
rut.
you any
If
push-ups.
the rut, you know, starts to develop, then maybe not, because you heard Justin Brayton on the show. He said, you know, that rut was all the way through the corner up to the face, and it really upsets, throws your balance off, and yeah, they're just going to double single if that's the case. But if there's no rut, I'm sure that they'll be able to come around that corner, grab a big handful of throttle, and triple that section. I'm glad there's only one triple on the track today.
Right.
If there was two, it'd be really hard for these guys. Getting a lot now to look at Patrick.
Yeah. And once again, we want to remind everybody we're going to be live tweeting during Monster Energy Supercross Chasing the Dream Episode 3 this Sunday, 3:30 Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. A lot of people are talking about this episode, and I've seen a lot of the clips of it. There's really some amazing stuff that Luke Parmenter and Doug Cabrera have put together there.
Well, and you talk about that. I'm going to be on the East Coast. I'm probably going to be having lunch and maybe over at JoJo Keller's house, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to watch it. And just me and JoJo look at each other and go, I'm glad they didn't have cameras when we were racing.
Yeah, but it sure would have been cool to see cameras when you guys are racing. But we do have cameras now that our top sports, the top guys in our sport are doing their thing. And let's take a look at that promo.
You want to do good and you want to win, and when you have somebody that's dragging you backwards on a weekly basis, if you have to race with the guy, it's like, dude, we're here to do a job.
One thing I don't think people do realize is how long it takes to get in the right condition to race Supercross. The demand on these guys is unbelievable.
You just get that like kill in your blood.
That's going to be a big show. We're going to be live tweeting during the broadcast tomorrow. Tweets from the producers themselves, Luke Parmenter and Doug Cabrera, so you can go even more behind the scenes with those guys and see what they were thinking when they set up the shots. It's going to be very, very fun. Going to be a good show. Monster Energy Supercross Chasing the Dream, Episode 3. As we're back on track here with 250C qualifying number 2, about 3 minutes to go. Nick Desiderio is atop with a 1:16 lap time.
You know what? I'm seeing a lot of these New Englander fans coming out to Supercross. I'm seeing them a lot with the Rob Gronkowski new Monster Energy drink being debuted here at Supercross. I see a lot of the fans have them. I see a lot of the fans been hitting the merchandise table with our, what would you call that, the piston and tires?
The piston mug. David Pulley in our camera right now. He's down there in 11th position. Hasn't got a good lap in yet. He's down there with a 1:55. So
yeah, I'm not sure. Well, something might be wrong with his bike because he was rolling that section right there. You saw him, and he just stepped off of it. I'm not so sure that something didn't happen to him. We'll have to see if David Pulley can get that Yamaha back going again.
Watching Patrick kind of roll through the whoops there and pick it back up around that right-handed sweeper. As there's Nick Desiderio, the fastest here in 250C qualifying number 2. I want to thank everybody for joining into Race Day Live today. All of our international viewers, we've had a huge show. We had Rob Gronkowski join us here, talking about his new energy drink and talking about us bringing Monster Energy Supercross onto his field. And I ain't going to tell him it's not his field, that's for sure.
Yeah, he seemed like he was okay with it.
Yeah. wasn't nothing we could do about it if he wasn't. That's for
No.
sure. But that was a good time. I want to thank Justin Brayton for coming on and joining us. Michael Alessi, Doug Henry. You know, personally, you know, he's one of my favorite riders of all time. One of my favorite ads. You know, what's stopping you? That guy's the most determined motocross rider I've ever seen. Yeah, and remember Doug Henry honored tonight, Legends and Heroes, during the broadcast that begins at 3:30 Eastern on Fox Broadcast Channel. 2 weeks in a row on the big show there on Fox. So super proud of that milestone for our sport. Happy to be a part of it with you, Jim Hawley.
About 30 seconds left here in this final qualifying session for the 250 Group C out there right
That's
now.
right.
Winding down here. And Nick's
Jim,
still up at the top of the board, 1:16.3.
yeah, he's had a good qualifying session. And there's different ways to watch today and tonight. Jim, do you know what a Fox Go app is? Surely you do. That's You can also watch today's race on the Fox Go app. So make sure and download that. Check it out on your mobile device.
But I got to get internet on my phone first.
Oh, hey, you're making steps. You got rid of the flip phone. You got yourself an iPhone
yeah,
now.
I borrowed my son's, but I still have it. I'm still trying to get used to it, believe it or not. As the checkered flag flies here.
Checkered flag is out. Nick Desiderio with a minute 16.3. Fastest lap time, 250C qualifying number 2.
Patrick DeLaury down in that 8th position there with 1:22, making his debut here. He'll get ready. Hopefully he's in the 40 fastest and can get some more time out on the track in a heat race and a last chance.
Right.
Want to wish a happy birthday today, the 23rd of April, to Alex Ray. Alex Ray turning 23 today on the 23rd, and not a bad ride last weekend. Made that main event, finished up 21st, had a little bit of problems, but he's looking to rebound here tonight in Foxboro.
Yeah, I spoke with Alex yesterday. We were actually having lunch together, him and Cade Clayson, and he said, you know, I like being in that main event, and I really want to try to get in there the last 3 races of the championship, and Alex Ray's got a good shot at doing it. Good, hard-charging privateer.
He's come a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when he made his debut in Supercross, and it's always neat to see when a guy makes his first main. And, you know, last year he made a lot of them, and this year he's made a few. He's had a little bit of rough start on that West Coast, and I think it's harder for the guys on the East Coast. And he's a Tennessee kid, and, coming out to the West Coast there, it's a little bit it's a little bit different, the soil and everything. If you don't live out there, you really don't get acclimated to it. He's used to more. And when we move back to the East Coast tracks and they're a little more softer like we have here to do, that's where Alex Ray really shines.
Right. Speaking of shining, you shined a lot in your career when you were racing. And we talk every weekend at length, but I never really get to ask you about your career and your racing as much as I wish I could. And you raced here in 1984. Go back and tell us some more memories of that race. Last time when you were here in Gillette Stadium racing.
Yeah, I remember the heat race. It was me, Glover, and Johnson, and they used to give away the Diet Coke catapult. The guy in the heat race who jumped the furthest off of a jump would win $1,000, and I remember it was us 3, and we had, they took the top 4, and we had a big lead on 4th, so we all said before the heat race, RJ and Glover, we said on the line, hey, if it's the last lap and the race is over at that last lap, because we're all going to go for that Diet Coke catapult. And I ended up.
It's like $500, wasn't it?
It was some races were 1,000, some races were 5, but I ended up getting that. But it was just it was a great time, back then. I really enjoyed going to the different venues, and this was one of them. I remember we went to New York, Buffalo, raced there, Three Rivers, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
All the new tracks that we kind of went to and tested out the market and things like that. But with that being said, I'm glad we're back here in 2016 because there is a big following here in New England, the fans, and you see it today. They came out in droves to watch
in the rain,
practice
in the cold,
rain,
in the
it's
wind.
cold. Yeah.
They're not scared. The fans.
But no, it was good times back then, and you know, it was earlier in my career we didn't have the East-West shootout or 120. It was just the 250 class, and that was it.
Best guys in the world.
1985. That's when we started with the East-West races and stuff, and had a 125 class. And
right.
Like you said, I mean, you go back to 1990 here. The last time we were here, John Michelle Bale won, Jeff Ward second, Mike LaRocco third, Stanton fourth, and Larry Ward.
2 Wards in the top 5.
Yeah, and then your buddy Denny Stevenson won that day.
Right.
Mike Jones was second. Barry Karsten, another. He's in
Karsten,
New Jersey, but New England, this area. He finished. Talon Volan, Jason Langford out of Texas, and like I said, Doug Henry finished up 8th that night, and 17th in that 250 was John Dowd. That's the last time we were here.
Yeah, we know Denny Stevenson. I just looking at some stuff on the break, and we know he's tuning in. So, Denny, shout out to you. Hope everything's going good. Glad to see you're back on the bike. Stay after that. But speaking of being back on the bike, 250B qualifying number 2, fixing to blast off the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate.
I kind of like the guys in the back there, those 3 or 4 guys. Let those guys go off. I'm going to let them go, and then I'm going to have a good, clean track. Kind of waiting around now, just making a few little changes. They should be dropping the green flag, and there
they go. Easy, boys. Don't need to crash in the first turn in practice.
Yeah, I just hope they get that first turn really, really dry. Maybe they could bring in a little bit of dry dirt, mix it in, because when as soon as that heat race, all the heart rate's up, everybody's pumped up and everything, the adrenaline's flowing, and they're going to run it down into that first turn.
Yep. Yeah, you've seen a few of these, Jim Hawley, and you know exactly what they're going to do off that start.
Yeah. They're going to forget it's a little bit wet out there.
Uh-huh. Go just a little bit harder and a little bit further and realize there's a lot less traction. Been there.
Well, and that's the key right there. As you see, you go to that outside, you grab a handful, and it squirts you off. You land in the middle here, and we'll see what happens after this right-hander. See, it's very hard to land on those downsides, and there's that second set of whoops here. Those aren't bad, those whoops there. A little bit easier for the guys to get through. Daniel Hurling, Joshua Cartwright, now Henry Miller, 297. I think is that Henry Miller, 297 up front there?
It is. Yeah.
Let's see what Henry's going to do here. Hang on, Henry.
Getting around pretty good.
Yeah, and you see, it's more of a, it's not, what happened there, Henry?
He overjumped the double a little bit.
Oh, he lost the front end.
Yeah, down he goes.
See, and I got to say that he overjumped the double, and that kind of messed him up a little bit.
And we just heard the crowd gasp behind us there, and we had a guy go down over the finish line. As you're watching Eric Grondel here get through the rhythm section.
Yeah,
no worse for the wear, looking good.
There's the rider that went down over the finish line. He's up and okay. He just landed. See, now that's the problem when you get off of the track.
It's
all
real
the mud,
muddy.
They got off. Yeah. He's stuck in there. He's going to have to. It's like quicksand. They're going to pull him out of there, but he's up and okay. Hopefully he'll be fine. And
yeah, I hate to speak about things that you guys who viewers don't see, but when you hear the crowd gasp like they just did behind Jim and myself, you got to turn around and see what happened. And we're glad to see he's okay.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is the yellow flags are out there and the red cross flag. They got to roll the finish line, so nobody's going to be putting in a good lap time, for at least a couple minutes here. And we got 7:15 left in this. We can't even see the number on his back of his jersey.
No.
Probably more embarrassed.
Yeah.
He had to have help getting out of the mud.
Got number 519. That's Joshua Cartwright right there on the Blue Buffalo machine. Blue Buffalo, a good sponsor for that crew right there.
Yeah,
Tyler King and John
here.
Slayton. Yeah, this is their region, and like to see big name sponsors jumping on board with teams and helping out. And very good program with those folks. Watching Van Martin, number 421 from Texas. He can ride in the wet stuff. Most of the guys from Texas I encountered were pretty good in the soft stuff all around.
Yeah, and if he lives in the Houston area, he probably had a lot of practice in the mud
a lot
this
of rain
week.
right now. Yes, they are.
Fan getting around, but you see some of those ruts. You want to get in those ruts because it's dry in those
Where
ruts.
the traction is, exactly.
Fan getting around here good in that second set of whoops there. You can blitz those. Let's see if he's got a good clean track coming up. Yep, he's got a good clean track, but did not do the Monster
Energy. Yeah, came up
Energy
short a little
finish
bit
line.
before, yeah.
That straightaway, when you come out of that right-hander,
And
back
then
onto
onto
the
the slick
straightaway,
part.
it is so hard and
Yeah.
slippery. I'm not sure if they're not down to the plywood in that section already, or the concrete. There's Van over the single, double, still not tripling.
Jacob Williamson is the fastest so far with a little over 5 minutes to go here in 250B qualifying number 2. He's followed by Henry Miller, Tyler Bierman, John Short, Van Martin. That's your top 5.
Yeah, and Jacob Williamson making he's a rookie here in Supercross also.
Just had his first Supercross race of his career in Toronto, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and got some support from Legends and Heroes. Jacob Williamson did, and hard charging up and coming guy you might want to keep your eye on. And then, like Mike Alessi said, he said those whoops, in Brayton, we asked them both. It was kind of an obvious question, but I just wanted to hear it from them themselves. I was like, what's the toughest part?
Yeah.
They're like, the whoops. Definitely the whoops.
Well, I think Brayton said that, this final qualifying session, he's looking forward to trying to blitz through them, but I don't know. Well, we got another one of the Feld track crew talking to the AMA official there. That looked like John Gallagher down there. I'm not sure. Well, John Gallagher's probably saying you can't go around the whoops anymore, guys. I'm sure that's what they're talking to the guys. You see Tyler Bierman there. That's Tyler right there, right?
It was, yes, sir. There's Henry Miller.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing that they're making them go through. I mean, because that's going to help break them down, and get them good for tonight. So if you don't go over them, but I'm sure that's what John Gallagher from the FIM was down there, and the Feld track crew with the yellow flag saying, hey, guys, we need you to go through. We need the help here. We need you guys to kind of break down this. And you see that talking about it again down there.
Daniel Hairline jumps up to the top with a 1:11.9. Another hard charger from the Amsoil Arenacross series. And got to remind you folks that race to the championship, 2 rounds to go, a 1-point lead for Gavin Faith, 1 point over Chris Blows. They have tonight in Nampa, Idaho, and then they move to the Las Vegas finals on May 6th. That's going to be really awesome. Last year those guys came down to the final main event. Jacob Hayes, Kyle Regal went down in a heap, and Regal got up and won the championship. And looks like there's 2 guys going for it that are locked head-to-head right now, but Daniel Hairline's been with those guys and putting in good performances all season.
Well, and you mentioned the Amsoil Arenacross, and both those guys you talked about, Blows and Gavin Faith, they're both teammates. Last year a little different. You had Husky going against Kawasaki, but this year it's all
Civil War.
I can say that Kawasaki, I think, is going to win the championship.
Yeah.
Denny Bartz and the guys at the Monster Energy Babbitt's Kawasaki team looking good over there on that Amsoil Arenacross. And
I got to send a shout out to my coworker Lindsay Alkari. She's there handling social media and handling a lot of things with Amsoil Arenacross. And Mike Mooey, the director over there, those guys are working hard and getting close to the end of their deal.
Yeah, and hopefully after Friday night, maybe a couple of them might come over and ride the Supercross.
Ride some Supercross, right.
We saw that happen last year.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to being there in person at the Orleans. Taking it in. As you're watching Jacob Williamson get around the track, he looks good. He doubled his way through the whoops and getting through the rhythm sections nice and clean. Good up-and-coming rider to keep your eye on there. I think he's really got a bright future in the next couple years.
Well, and if you look at it, it's a 1:12.4. That's exactly what Jeremy Martin did in that first qualifying session at one. So the track is definitely starting to get worked in.
Right.
So that tells us we're moving forward. When the heat races come, it's going to be a little bit faster.
Right. No, the rain has stopped. Things are drying out. The track's starting to come up, and we still got a lot of qualifying to go. We got the 250As, the 450As coming up still.
Yeah, see, I think that in some of those turns I'm seeing some of the guys.
Some dry dirt.
Yeah, a little dry dirt in there. Seeing a little bit of it's either concrete or plywood in a couple of corners. But like I said, the Feld track crew, they'll get out there. They'll take notice of where they're down to the plywood. They'll add a little bit more dirt, bring it up a little bit deeper. About a minute left in this final Group B 250 final qualifying session. I know everybody's enjoying themselves out in the party in the pits. I know BJ Baldwin with his
truck out there putting on a smoke show. Rob Gronkowski's joined us here at Monster Energy Supercross, debuting his new energy drink.
We forgot to ask him if we could join him in his bus tonight.
I thought you were already in there.
Well, I was in there earlier. But
might be a little more fun tonight, you think?
Yeah.
What a good guy. He was fun to talk to, man. But unbelievable how big that guy is. You shake, I mean, I'm 6 foot tall, 210 pounds, and standing next to that guy, wow. Wow, Jacob Williamson, speaking of that, wow, he just flattened out those whoops.
Yeah, he looks like he's on a heater. He's got a 110.8 going on, but let's see if he can drop it down.
Yeah.
That's going to be it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Checkered flag will come out on 250B qualifying number 2. Jacob Williamson takes away as the top qualifier.
I don't know if she heard me.
Yeah. Okay. You know, speaking of the Gronk bus, you know, it's pretty cool. Him and Monster Energy, what a good pairing. You know, awesome personality with him, an all-pro, future Hall of Famer tight end. You know, the guy just likes to have a good time. And then Monster Energy, of course, those guys always looking for a good time. They get together and they come up with the Gronk bus. We actually got some footage of that. Let's take a look at it.
He's a monster athlete.
Yeah.
He's a monster athlete there, and get your Gronk on, you know. Yeah. Got a chance to go in there. There's
it's a cool
nice
looking
look
can.
at the can. Yeah. He's got a signature on it. But, you know, he's very, safety oriented. You know, he said, look, you know, we go out, we
have
tip
a good time,
and we have a good time. We need someone, a designated driver. He's driving the Gronk bus as we get a chance to look at the inside.
Yeah.
Look at the up there. That's the end zone right there, you know. 50-yard line. There it is. The Gronk bus driving in actually to the stadium. Yeah, he'll have fun tonight. That's for sure.
Pretty cool. Gronkowski's coming into this stadium in a lot of different ways, you know. But to come in there on the Gronk bus at Monster Energy Supercross with his brand new energy drink.
Here's the Gronk and Monster, man. The Gronk.
Yeah, it tastes good. It's got its own unique flavor. And, so good luck to them and good luck to him in 2016. New England Patriots don't seem to have too much trouble winning, though, in any season. You know, they made it all the way to the Super Bowl last year. But, yeah.
We were looking up at the top, and they had their championships 4. And I thought they'd won more, but only 4 championships, but they've been in a lot more than those.
Right. You know, pretty cool. There you go, right there.
Yeah. 01, 03, and then you're going to transition over to the other side here at Gillette Stadium, and you're going to see the recent one being 2014, but they also won it again in, I believe it was 2004. So back-to-back in 3 and 4, and then a little bit of a 10-year hiatus there, and they won it in 2014. But what a beautiful venue here in Foxboro.
Right. 2004, that was Chad Reed's first 250 Supercross championship, or 450 SX class, I mean. But speaking of Reed, you know, hasn't had the starts, but he's riding hard. Had his 200th career start last weekend. 155 top 5s, 130 podiums. Unbelievable. What are the chances for the 22 to get a win in the next 3 races?
Well, I mean, you know, he's as good as any of the other guys out there. I mean, he's had a couple seconds this year. As we're getting a chance to see the
250
A group
guys
lined up on the MX versus ATV Encore starting gate there, talking to the mechanics. But getting back to Reed, yeah, he's in it. I mean, he's got 3 more to go. And, you know, we actually talked to somebody yesterday, and they said that Michael Byrne said that, hey, he wants to ride 17, he wants to ride 18.
2 more years.
2 more years. So, good for Chad Reed. I mean,
like he said in that segment, you know, he's like, hey, you know, I hear the talk, I hear idle talk and idle chatter about me retiring. He goes, when I retire, it'll be when I say I retire, you know, and he ain't ready yet. So he's had 3 podiums this year, a couple of second-place finishes, and he's still got some left in the tank.
Well, and I think that he knows what his role is. I mean, you know, Yamaha, it's no secret that Cooper Webb's going to move up to that 450, and
that's going to be exciting.
They want Chad to kind of mentor him and help him out.
Yeah.
Not so much on riding technique, but maybe on setting up a bike, because you got to remember that Reed, he knows how to set up a bike and make changes, and we've seen him make changes in between the heat race and come out in the main event and win the main event. So I think it's more of a, you know, an older statesman, you know, kind of teaching the younger guys.
Great for Cooper. Going to be exciting to see him jump into the 450 class next year. As you're watching the 250A qualifying number 2 on the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate.
What do you think? Triple?
Yeah? You want to bet again?
No, I don't want to bet again. I'm done betting. I've already lost. I owe you a beer.
I think they're going to hit it, man. The 250B guys are kind of sizing it up, but the rut got pretty deep.
Well, who do you think's going to hit it first out of all those guys out there? You think it's going to be a Bauer? Malcolm? Yeah. Wow.
He can jump.
All right, well, jumping right out there is going to be Shane McElrath, right out to the front there, and his KTM Troy Lee. Let's see how the whoops are for McElrath. Just kind of jumped a little bit of him. Bauer's in there.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a up and down season for McElrath. He
had a couple podiums though,
but he's just kind of had some bad luck. But you know,
flat tire in Toronto, right?
Right. We had my colleague Jason Thomas on last week, and while he was on, he spoke about Shane McElrath and said, hey, you know, I think he'll land on the podium, and lo and behold, he did. So no surprise to me. Jason Thomas picking out a guy to have a good ride. Starting to warm up, Jim. I'm feeling better. No more wind, no more rain. We're not holding on to our canopies here.
I think we're getting a few more bodies in here. You know, I think it's getting more body heat in here.
Yeah, the track's starting to get better. I don't know what you're going to do if we see somebody jump the triple. You might jump off the set here. I hope not.
Well, I'm hoping Shane comes around here. We're getting a chance to watch Shane now. He's going to make that right-hander there, but yeah, it's still a little too slick, I think. It's just, you know, for the risk versus the reward, I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to have to wait till the heat race.
Right.
I really do.
Till they fix it again?
Yeah, I just think they need a little bit more work done on the track before they get out there and they pull the trigger. And, you know, when it means something, you know, when a heat race or a main event.
And don't forget the smoke show's going on down in the party in the pits, the Monster Energy party in the pits. Rob Gronkowski's down there emceeing it, so BJ Baldwin putting on the smoke show, the Unknown Industry Harley guys. I'm pleasantly surprised with the way the track's turning out right now. It's just like we've been saying all day long, it's just going to get better.
Alexander Fry, teammate of Shane McElrath there, as we see Shane McElrath at a 1:11.1. I'm sure that time will slip back down, you know, as the this session winds
progresses
down.
Yeah.
There's a man sitting second in the points there, but now we're back on McElrath. Got a glimpse of Aaron Plessinger. Aaron made a few mistakes in that first qualifying session out there for him.
Yeah, went down in the whoops. No big deal, though. Like, yeah. Fry getting in his way a little bit there, but Alexander Fry's had a good good rookie debut, you know, on that Troy Designs KTM. Shown a lot of speed. Plessinger, though,
follow him around,
up on the point lead on the heels of a victory and a second-place finish finds himself 1 point behind Malcolm Stewart.
Yeah, he looks pretty good here through the whoops, just kind of going to come up and do that double out of the right hander.
He'll go on a heater now,
finish line jump. Yeah, let's go. It's time to put down the hammer now.
Alexander Fry was in front of him, and Plessinger was looking for a way by, and Fry just kind of pulled away. So Alexander Fry riding very well here in Foxboro.
And riding well, Malcolm Stewart now with
Jumps
a
up to the top.
107.5 and a 107.9 for RJ Hampshire, Plessinger to 108.
So obviously the track's getting better, a full 4 seconds faster than the first qualifying session.
And probably in the heat race time, maybe another couple more seconds off of that, I'm kind of thinking. I don't know if it'll be a
sub 1 minute. I don't think we'll see 50s today, though. We might, though. As much as much as we've talked up the Feld track crew today, I really can't say enough about how tremendously improved this track is. When we kicked things off today, at, this morning at 9:30, it was rough. It was wet, super slick,
super windy.
All we need is a little sunshine. A little sunshine will go a long ways right now.
Malcolm Stewart now. Notice he doesn't have the white towel hanging out the back there to wipe his hands. We don't need that anymore. The track's getting better. Now Jeremy Martin jumps up with a 105.3, and his teammate there, Aaron Plessinger, with a 106.4.
Yeah,
so
Yamaha 1 and 2. 2 Yamahas followed by a Honda, a Malcolm Stewart, and a Husky with Martin Davalos and RJ Hampshire rounding out the top 5. Darren Durham sitting there in 6th, so good qualifying effort for him so far.
Jeremy Martin there, number 6 right now. We're getting a chance to look at, and he's two-time outdoor champion. We have a lot of mud races and outdoor races, a lot of ruts like that. He could be the guy to see him get back-to-back wins, 3 on the season.
Exactly. An inch up even closer into that championship with still MetLife and the 250 East-West shootout to go. So you were kind of the first person that brought that to my attention. Jeremy Martin is not out of this at all.
Well, he had a little help last week from Malcolm Stewart.
Yeah, Mookie.
Yeah, if Mookie could have, maybe got a podium out of it, then he would have had a little bit more comfortable, a little bit harder work. But he's definitely in this thing, and he's not out, and he knows it.
Yeah.
And you knew that after talking with him last week on the podium. He knows he's not out of this championship.
I tell you, I don't know how many times throughout Supercross history you can say a racer crashed 3 times and still finished 8th. Well, Malcolm pulled that off. He never gave up, and wow, that was big. Martin looks extremely good. Malcolm moves up into 2nd.
Well, we always say consistency wins championship, but also races do too.
Yeah.
And if he wins this championship, he wasn't consistent at all.
Yeah.
He got a 21st, and he came back the next week and won it.
Yeah, that's
He's going to come in and talk to his mechanic here and see what kind of change they're going to make on the bike, if any.
Exactly. When you're out there points racing for a championship, a good way to go about it is to win them all. Get all those points you can get. 25 for first, 22 for second.
I go back to Toronto for this man here, had his jersey ripped off of him, and it could have been very easy to give up at that point, as we're seeing the yellow flags now, so that's going to wave off any fast lap that anybody had going. I believe that's 62. Is that Justin Starling there that had a little problem in that right-hander there? But he has showed me that never die attitude in Toronto. That's where I really saw it, and I saw it again last weekend when, the chips were down 3 times and he battled back and finished up in 8th. Looking down at his bike, he might come in the mechanics area, maybe got a piece of rock or something stuck in the brake pedal. I have to keep an eye on him. Let's see if they look down. He's looking down at something. Say he's going
probably a little mud
down, maybe a rock or mud.
Yeah. 2 minutes to go. Jeremy Martin leads the way, followed by Malcolm Stewart, Aaron Plessinger, RJ Hampshire, and Martin Davalos, rounding out the top 5. Shaping up to be a good night of racing here in the 250 East, man. Getting down to the nitty-gritty with the championship. 1 point lead for Malcolm Stewart. Plessinger's charging. That man right there, Jeremy Martin, won last weekend. And wow, it's these next 2 races are really going to paint the picture for the championship heading into that East-West shootout. And that's, everybody's going to be watching that. Like Mike Alessi said, fans and racers alike, they're going to be watching that East-West shootout. It's going to be spectacular.
Yeah, Martin looks to me in watching this not because he's got the fastest time at a 103.5, but as I said that,
why do we do that? Why do we jinx these guys every time?
I mean, he looked smooth out there. He looked loose. He looked, he was flowing out there, and then
we jinxed him.
He's running the hand guards there.
That's not going to slow his roll much. He'll be good. He'll be fast tonight. He's confident.
Yeah, he's all right now, though. I mean, now this 55 seconds left here. He's got the fast time, a 103.5. Next to him, Malcolm Stewart, a 105.9. That's always going to put a smile on your face when you go back to the truck knowing that
you're 2 seconds faster.
Yeah.
A second and a half. But
and if you're Malcolm Stewart, you're going to look at that and go, man, where did he? Let me look at the tape. Where's he faster at? What's he doing?
Yeah. Well, what am I not doing? Doubling through those loops is pretty tough. Martin's got the great Johnny O'Mara working in his corner, and that no doubt has him focused pretty tightly.
Looks like Malcolm might be on a little bit of a heater here. Let's see if he can move up from that 105.9.
There goes the triple.
Oh, there it is. I knew it. Now let's see if that time will transition.
Told you he'd hit it.
And see if he can jump up to the top of the leaderboard with that. Malcolm Stewart, the first 250 guy to do it. And look at this, look at that rhythm section there, downsiding there.
Yeah, he's definitely on a heater. Flowing around the track, ripped the triple. He needs to pick up a second and a half to catch Jeremy Martin's quickest lap.
Well, doing that triple probably picked up half a second at least. Here comes Malcolm Stewart. Now
Jeremy Martin's jumping it. They're all jumping it now. Yeah.
Let's see.
Does he jump up to the
Last
top?
lap. A
Nope.
105.1.
So still out of the picture there for as far as being the fastest, but checkered flags out. Top 5, Jeremy Martin, Malcolm Stewart, Martin DeValos, Aaron Plessinger, and Tyler Bowers.
Deanna Naudette there in 6th. 7th, RJ Hampshire. Cedric, how do you pronounce that last name there?
Saberis, I think.
Heard he had a problem with a motor, and Mitch Payton loaned him a motor and helped him out last weekend.
Yeah, Mitch will do that. He's always about helping the privateers as we're going to go down to the podium.
Malcolm Stewart. Malcolm, always a pleasure to talk to you. You weren't quite the pole position heading into tonight, but we'll see you out there in heat race number 1. Last week was a tough week for you. It looks like patience is going to be the key on this track. What are you seeing out there?
Honestly, the track's tough. It's going to be definitely going to be a tough night for everybody. And overall, I'm just happy to be in the Patriots Stadium. This is pretty cool. I've never been here before, so I don't know. I just want to thank you fans for coming out and supporting this race. So it'll be a good one. Get ready for the night.
How do you prepare yourself mentally after last week, spending a couple, maybe 3 times on the ground, and you're still the points leader heading into the final couple rounds?
Honestly, how I prepare myself? Forget about it. Yeah. That's the easiest thing to do. So overall, it's a fresh start, and we'll see what we can do in the next 3 rounds.
Well, I love to hear that from you. Malcolm is the points leader heading into tonight. One more time for this number 50 Geico Honda rider, Malcolm Stewart Irv. I love what he says. Always a smile on his face, and he says, forget about next week. We're on to this week.
That's right. Division.
Well, I think it's good he mentioned his brother's up here to help him out, you know.
Yeah.
His brother's been in this position before.
Pretty good coach.
Yeah.
Pretty good coach. Coming up next, there you see Chad Reed getting ready to go up to the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate.
Shane Drew and Mike Gosser. It takes 2 guys to lock in that whole set device.
450 Group A qualifying number 2. Set to fire off. There's Alessi right in the middle.
Ready to go as they're getting ready here on the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. Yeah. Getting a chance to look at Justin Brayton. He was on the show. Want to thank him. Number 10. 25 there, the 1, the 21. Nick Way there, 27. Behind those guys there, you can see 19 there.
Since we've been into betting here today,
yeah,
who do you think is going to jump out first?
No.
Dungey and Anderson, by any chance?
I think maybe Alessi.
Yeah,
I think
he looks
Alessi
ready.
looks like, yeah, he's kind of lined up in that best position. Dungey's kind of more to the inside. I think I'd go with Alessi. He looks like he's ready to just kind of, he's already out ahead of everybody else.
I thank everybody for tuning in to Race Day Live today. The Monster Energy Supercross returned to Gillette Stadium in Foxboro, Massachusetts. Going to be a great show at 3:30 Eastern on Fox Broadcast Channel. Comes down to this, 450A group. We're going to see who's going to be our fastest qualifier heading into the program. Dungey looked pretty good, you know, but was on top of the leaderboard for a little while, but then Eli Tomac put that number 3 on top last time these guys were on the track.
Yeah, with a 108.3 behind him, Kenny Roczen a 108.5, and behind him, Trey Canard, the factory Honda rider, with a 109.8. So we'll see if that bumps up. We already see, obviously, it's going to bump up Jeremy Martin at that 103.55. That's going to be the fastest so far today, but we still got that 450A. Come up here.
See if anybody gets on top of the whoops here in this qualifying session. Nobody's been able to do it yet, but yeah, they still look pretty nasty.
There's Anderson there. Alessi, come on, creeping up. Oh, look out. Who is it?
Alessi and Anderson.
What do you think, Andy? First lap. Anderson sends it on the triple. He sees everybody else doing it. Let's see.
Yeah, he'll hit it. Of course.
Yeah. Nice.
They'll all hit it. Well,
he even overjumped it a little bit.
Yeah.
Alessi didn't hit it, but there's the whoops now.
Man, those things are gnarly. Try to use that word as sparingly as possible, but that's as gnarly as it gets today.
Well, and the problem is it's just the traction on them. They're not, you know, that front end's dropping down. You're trying to grab a handful, keep that front end up. It's wheel spinning. It drops down again. You're just hanging on.
Been a good season. Good super sophomore season for Jason Anderson. 2 wins on the season. He's got 4 podiums in a row. You know, and everybody keeps saying, you know, he just needs a start. He does. He just needs to get a start. He has 1 hole shot on the season. Looking at the hole shots, though, you know, it comes to no surprise to me. Guess who has the most hole shots in the 450 class, Jim Hawley?
I'd say Dungey.
Ryan Dungey's got 5 of them.
Yeah, and I didn't look at no notes or anything. Trust me, you didn't see me look down. I haven't even looked at that, but I just kind of know.
Shots.
And the reason why I know is because you said that he's led 155 laps. Well, the only way you're leading that many laps is if you're getting up front right away.
Yep.
And the thing about it is, last week we thought we were going to see Ryan Dungey falter. He had to come through the semi. He got knocked down in the heat race 7th. He comes out and he almost hole shot at the main event. I mean, Kenny Roczen got the hole shot, but he got right around Kenny after that, and he won his 8th of the season, matching his record. He's still got 3 more to go. He can possibly get 9, 10, and 11.
He wins tonight, and it breaks his personal record for most wins in the season, exactly.
And he wraps up the championship. Yeah. That's probably the most thing. He's not looking at that
anything
personal
but
best.
The
he just wants that championship.
Yeah. 30 career wins for him, and
I'd like to see his teammate there, then number 25. You just saw a glimpse of Marvin Muskin. I'd like to see him get a win this year before it's all
really
over.
Really would, too, especially the way
to help his confidence.
Yeah. Don't worry about Marvin Muskin. He's got a long career ahead of him and a lot of opportunities to win main events. And tell you what, though, those wins are hard to come by. When you come that close, you lead 19 laps, and you lose a victory on the last lap, that's going to leave a lasting impression.
See, and I'm watching Dungey right now moving around on the track. You see that last left-hander, he went to the inside there. It's a little bit, he's kind of testing a few different lines now. And that's what the opportunity is given the Feld. Look at that. We're in trouble now, people. We have a problem.
Yeah.
The man who runs that number 1 just blitzed the whoops like it was nothing. And he started from the far right, moved over, so everyone else is going to go back and look at tape and going, man, that bike's working tonight.
Think Ryan Dungey's got any confidence going on?
Just a little bit.
Unfortunately,
Weston
Pike kind of messed his lap up.
It's all right. But up front, Trey Canard with a 103.7. That's good. Chad Reed a 103.8. And Justin Brayton a 105.3.
Dungey goes to the top. 103.2. Half a second faster than Trey. Yeah, they're seeing them skid out of that right-hander out to the finish line on the slick part.
Yeah, they're
searching for traction.
They're either on the plywood or pavement, but I know they covered the track. I'm not sure if they do the whole track with plywood, but
they do.
Definitely slick coming out of that turn. There's old Cole Seeley. Good to see him back. Welcome back, Cole Seeley. Cole Seeley got that white towel like Malcolm. Oh, hang on, Cole, hang on. Hang on to it.
Yeah.
I like the recovery of Cole.
Yeah, that's a good recovery.
You make a little mistake, get right back into it. Take a lap here with Cole Seeley.
Kenny Roczen jumps up to the top. 3 wins on the season for Ken Roczen, and 3 wins on the season and 3 consecutive second-place finishes for number 94. And he's probably pretty frustrated and ready to get back into the victory lane, but on top of the podium, I mean. Riding good, seems to be meshing with his team well. It's just that guy with the number 1 plate on him is pretty tough. But Kenny's fighting him hard, and them guys are racing each other clean and putting on a good show the last 3 weeks for Monster Energy Supercross fans. Been a good time watching them.
See a couple of guys pulling off next to the whoops, and they're not letting them, but they just want to look and see
where the line is.
Where the line is.
Roczen just got through there. Yeah, and right, yeah.
We're watching Cole Seeley now, number 14 on that factory RCH Honda.
Right.
Over the inside there and come out of there and roll that and double that. Double into the corner there.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, good through
Super
that set
fast
of whoops.
through the whoops.
Yeah.
See where he.
Cole's going to come in and talk to his mechanic now, and actually took a look over at the whoops. I guess that's the only way you're going to get a look, if you go to the mechanics area and kind of look and see if Ryan Dungey can improve on his. Woo. Oh, that was a nice. I wish we would have stayed on that. That was a beautiful
dirt tracker style.
Watching the way he was adjusting his body and his body positioning to get maximum traction coming out of there. So Dungey now up and over the triple. Let's see if he shows everybody how to get through the whoops.
Starts. Yeah.
Nope.
Not that time. Got to come. Yeah.
Josh Grant was in his way.
Yeah. Not happy about it. Josh Grant's like, hey, man, what do you want from me? Those things are tough. There's only a couple guys out there skimming them. Lap times are pretty consistent throughout the top 10, though, Jim. If you look up there, you got Roczen a full second ahead of Dungey, but then it's a 103s all the way down to Jason Anderson with the 104 and 7th. But time starting to run out. About a little under 3 minutes to go. Roczen, Dungey, Blake Baggett jumps up into the third, followed by Chad Reed, Trey Canard, Weston Pike, Anderson, Brayton, and Muskin. Dungey will set off on another lap right here probably. And oh, front end slid there pretty good.
About 2:30 left in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, Dungey looked over to see if he's going to have a clean shot at the whoops, and he'll get him lined up and gets over the back of the bike and just absolutely flies through him. Ken Roczen leading the way over Trey Canard, and that man right there in your picture. We'll see if he gets through this lap clean, and he's got a couple guys in front of him that are going to mess his lap up a little bit. Ryan Dungey completes his hot lap. See if he jumps up from a 103.2, if he improves his lap time. He does not.
No, Trey Canard now, but
yeah,
steps up into that 102.9. So still, Kenny Roczen just almost a full second faster than everybody else still.
Yeah, but looking at Ryan Dungey right there, look how clean his boots are. His bike's clean. The track's starting to get tacky. They're skimming the whoops. Kind of like we predicted, you know, you give the Feld track crew enough swings at this track and they'll get the conditions where they want in very, very good condition. So after this, you know, this round of qualifying, they'll go back over and fix it up, and we're gonna have a good show here today. Trying to get that KX 450 started of Eli Tomac there.
Look at Cole Seeley jumping up now into that second with a 102.3, and Kenny Roczen dropped it down to a 101.8. Blake Baggett's still hanging tough in that third with a 102.9. Looks like Dungey might be on a heater this one. He's got a good clean track ahead of him. Let's take a look at about 21 more seconds. Let's see if Dungey's going to jump up there. He's sitting in 5th right now. Let's watch him here inside. Now they're starting to do that triple from the inside.
Watch him through the whoops.
Yeah, here's the whoops. Nobody's in my way. There you go.
Perfect.
He's probably saying to the guy ahead of him, I can't see who it is, but get out of my way. As he blew by him. This will count if Dungey can hang on to it.
Carrying some good momentum.
Yeah.
Let's just see if he can finish a lap out strong here and nail these last couple corners. A little hesitant through there. Triples all the way over.
A little high, but still making it work.
Good corner there.
Whoops, and then you're going to come into this right-hander, a double-double over the finish line. First little double, and then finish line double. Let's see
Got to
Dungey.
pick up a little bit.
There he is, a 101.7. Oh, a 101.7 takes to the lead.
With time running out.
Unbelievable.
Is it, though? I don't know.
Well, I was looking for Christophe Pourcel, but unfortunately, Christophe Pourcel not riding here this weekend. Got to go down and talk to the boys down there at the factory Husqvarna rig and ask them what happened to Christophe Pourcel, but not riding here today.
Right, yeah. Missing a 3.77. So Ryan Dungey, Trey Canard, Ken Roczen, Chad Reed, Cole Seeley rounding out the top 5. Filling out the top 10, Blake Baggett, Justin Bogle, Justin Brayton, Jason Anderson, and Weston Pike. So a 101.7. That lap time is going to no doubt get faster as we progress into the main show here today. Showtime kicking off on Fox Broadcast Channel at 3:30 Eastern Time. It's going to be a great race in both classes. We're waiting for, we'll probably go with, they're going to get Dungey up there to the podium and talk about how he started skimming the whoops and got around the track faster than anybody has got around it all day long.
Down to at least 13th in qualifying, even out of the A group. Let's talk with Lurch.
Well, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's give it up for the reigning Supercross champion, current points leader on the Red Bull KTM, the number 1 of Ryan Dungey. Couple laps to go, able to get that fast qualifier in tough track conditions and a night that you could possibly defend your title and regain your, or rather gain your 3rd Supercross title.
Yeah, I mean, just right now getting comfortable is the main thing, and was able to pick on up on some good lines. And from the first practice to now, the track's really coming around really good, and we're able to start skipping the whoops, which that was a positive. And then, yeah, like I said, line choices, but just trying to tie the whole track together. That's the main thing.
You know, it's gonna. I have a feeling that it's gonna be better traction, but this track is gonna get rougher as the night goes along.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the base is pretty slippery, but the roughness is definitely coming out of the jumps and the turns too. You know, they're gonna do some work, so it actually should be a little bit better for the racing conditions as well. So, good traction, and then yeah, a couple of good practices today, and get ready for the show.
You know, 30 career wins, and tonight, right now, if you gain 2 points on Ken Roczen, it's going to be your 3rd title. You got to be excited, but as the way I've seen it, you don't get nervous about it. You just do what you do.
No, and that's the thing. You know, you got to really just hone in on tonight and focus on the here and the now. And if it happens, great. But if not, you know, we'll keep pushing and giving it our best. You know, that's all we can do. And the track's really coming around, so that's a positive, good for racing. But yeah, good starts and really position ourselves well in the first turn, and then good opening laps.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, how many people would like to see him get his 3rd Supercross title here tonight? Let's give it up for the Red Bull KTM, the number 1 of Ryan Dungey.
Thanks a lot, Lurch.
And the man isn't even breathing hard, Jim. No big deal. Probably the most challenging track that we've seen throughout the 2016 Monster Energy Championship. And, wow, you know.
I don't know. I might have to disagree with you on that one. I'm thinking
which one's tougher than this?
I would say Indy, main event Indy.
Yeah.
All the ruts. Yeah,
this
I think
this is wet. This is more wet.
Yeah, but I think by tonight, I think that it'll be good. Like we
Indy
talked
will be,
about
I agree.
the magic that the Feld track crew is going to work here, and I don't see the ruts getting as bad as Indianapolis here. But
those were pretty treacherous, right?
Yeah, but I just think we just saw it. You know, each and every time you saw the guys go out.
Got better.
It got better, and it's only going to get better. But
yeah.
It's going to be a great night of racing. Any way you slice that pie, that 250 class is going to be excellent. I can't wait for that. Is Martin going to get his back-to-back wins, 3 on the season, gain more points? Where's Mookie? How's he going to handle? Is he going to make any more mistakes, or is he going to ride mistake-free? Well, he's going to have a mistake. Everybody's going to have a mistake tonight, but is he going to be on the podium? Where's Plessinger going to be? When is Bauer's going to step up and get a win? You know, it's
could
just,
be today.
Who knows?
You know, and let's talk about the 450 class.
I don't want to talk about it.
ATV
I don't want to talk about it.
Fantasy segment. Let's roll it. Well, I'll go first, since you don't want to talk about it.
Well, I'll let you think of that. I'm not going to go first, but we'll go with Kurt Binke, because Kurt Binke's the easiest guy.
Sure.
He says, hey, it's going to be the 4th weekend in a row that we're going to see 94 and 21. That's what Kurt Binke's going to go with, and he's going to go with Brock Tickle for the wild card in 14th. Now I'll let you go, because that was the easiest.
Right.
Kurt's taking the easy road out.
Unfortunately, he's onto something there.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's something about our sport. It's of all the variables that we have, it gets predictable because, you know, alpha male figures it out, and the guys that are close to him stay close to him. And those 3 are locked together super tight. I don't think it's going to be exactly those 3, but I think Ryan Dungey wins this race here today in Gillette Stadium. Second place, I'm going to say Trey Canard gets up in there in second place. In third place, I'm going to go with Chad Reed to get another podium. So I don't think that running orders. It could very well be, you know, Kurt's picks in the same podium as the last 3 weekends. But Ryan Dungey, Trey Canard, and Chad Reed are my picks.
14th for the wild card.
Let's go with California guy Josh Grant. Doesn't like the soft stuff too much.
Okay, good on that, Josh Grant. I put Weimer in there, another California guy for that 14th in the wild card, as we're getting a chance to look at the viewers and what they're picking.
Dungey, Roczen, Anderson.
Yeah, they're going with Kurt Binke all the way, you know, and they're putting their wild card for Mike Alessi. That was a good pick, but I just think that Mike Alessi, I think he's got that confidence, and he's got the starts down now, and I think he's going to be in that top 10, so that's why I went with Weimer. But I'm going to go with Dungey to win the championship. Kurt Binke says he's going to win the championship, and I think he is tonight. I think Kenny Roczen's going to keep him honest in that second spot. I'm going to go with Trey Canard. Trey Canard has been riding his butt off the last
half of the season.
Yeah. He just can't get a start, but he looks good in both qualifying sessions, and I think that he might get up there as we're getting a chance to watch the leaderboard now.
Right. And S. Martin 4 has broken away with a big lead. You know, we don't want to say he has this thing wrapped up. There's still 3 rounds to go, but he's got a huge lead over Sir Rides a Lot, and looking pretty good there. The Toyota Tacoma could be in the future for S. Martin 4.
Well, you're talking Sir Rides a Lot. He's probably thinking he's a Jeremy Martin out there. He says, hey, I'm not out of this championship yet, so we'll have to wait and see how after tonight, you know, how it stacks up when we head down to MetLife next weekend in East Rutherford, New Jersey there. But want to wish our man from Tennessee a happy birthday again. Alex Ray, he's out in this B qualifying group here that's out right behind us here. Right. But happy 23rd birthday to Alex Ray on April 23rd.
Right. Remember, go to rnfantasysx.com. Happy birthday to Alex Ray. You know, but those are Rocky Mountain ATV fantasy picks. We hope you guys choose well tonight. It's a little bit, you know, we've had a lot of wet weather today, so the ruts are prevalent. It's going to be soft, but the conditions are going to be pretty good. But it's going to be soft. The 250 East is going to be crazy.
Well, and our picks that we had, I just want to get back to that.
Yeah.
I mean, Eli Tomac really wasn't qualifying in or this and that, but, I mean, he could be up there. I mean, there's so many guys that have an opportunity on a track like this to come up and win the race.
Right. Right. You know, and it's getting down to it. You know, if Dungey clinches tonight, we still got 2 rounds to go. So next week in MetLife, going to be a good show there. Going to be another huge Monster Energy party in the pits there. So get over to MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, and then the Las Vegas Finals in Sam Boyd Stadium. Going to be awesome.
Yeah, and that Sam Boyd, like you mentioned, don't forget about that May 6th, the final round of that AMSOIL Arenacross series, because that's going to be a good one. Also, you can hit both, you know, the AMSOIL Arenacross, and then you can see the final of the 450 and 250 East-West shootout.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, if you like Arenacross, you can still go back and watch the
Amateur Day.
finals.
Right.
Yeah,
that race to the championship concluding there in the Orleans Arena for the AMSOIL Arenacross is going to be spectacular. It's all, you know, it's really close right now with tonight's race and then May 6th. 1 point lead right now. That could change if Gavin Faith, you know, wins again. And
never know.
Or it could, you know, go the other way. But,
never know.
Right.
How about a toast to
let's toast to
the new Ron Gronkowski and the New England Patriots and all the fans in the New England area for coming out here on April 23rd.
Yeah,
and
it is.
JoJo Keller and Doug Henry and all the guys that came on the show. Mike Alessi, Brayton.
Yeah, Brayton.
Am I leaving somebody out?
JoJo.
Yeah.
Henry. It was awesome, man. So thank you guys for tuning in to Race Day Live. Thank you all you international fans. Shout out everybody that helped with the crew today. It was a lot of high winds. We had rain. It was cold, but we got through it. It's going to be a good show. Fox Broadcast Channel, 3:30 Eastern Time. Tune in to it. It's going to be an awesome race. We'll see you next week at MetLife Stadium.